Yo, welcome to the Blue Lounge, welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are all doing good. Big up to everybody who has joined us in the stream. Listen, I know, I promised to do a tier list video again tonight, but I'm going to have to arrange that for a different time because there's a topic which is a little bit more worthy of discussion, a little bit more interesting, that needs to be addressed. And I know it's going to be a controversial one because of the names involved and the scenarios that we're going to be discussing. But I wanted to give this topic some time tonight. We're going to be here for a little while, lads. We're going to be here for a little while. So big up to all of you who have joined the stream. I see Abdul B in the chat. Big up to you, Stephen. Always a pleasure to have you on. And Adil Arshad. Big up to Adil Arshad in the stream as well. Big up to everyone. Big up to my man MDT. Mo, how are you? Welcome to the stream.
I'm doing fine, Kasim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna start giving you guys my thoughts on this topic. Before we open it up for discussion. Hopefully, I'll have a few more of my panelists jumping on. I know a few of them are running a bit late. They've got families and work and whatnot. So hopefully, they'll be joining the stream in due course. Lads, the topic today is Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech is the main topic. However, Hakim Ziyech is a player within Chelsea Football Club, and there is many players within Chelsea Football Club who are in a very similar situation to Hakim Ziyech today. Callum Hudson-Odoi is one. Pulisic is another. And there's others. Similar situations, the same situations. This is where we are in respect to Hakim Ziyech, and I'm going to give you my take on this before we open it to the discussion. Before I start my take, I want to say big up to Max. Max, welcome to the stream. How you doing, my man?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Big up to you.
I am DT as well. How you doing?
MDT.
How are you doing today, Max? How's the family and everybody?
Yeah, all good, thanks.
Brilliant.
Okay, so just before you go more, big up everybody. Big up Ashad, big up Steven, everyone. Kick Clocks, everyone.
Big up. Yeah, I just seen Kick Clocks just come in as well. Brian is just coming as well. Listen, big up to everyone. It's a topic, like I said, that is controversial. But let me give you my take because I'm uncomfortable with this situation, and I'll tell you why I'm uncomfortable. You see, we got a player like Hakim Ziyech who came in as Lampard's first signing. Hakim Ziyech also recently spoke to the media and talked about how much he was looking forward to playing under Frank Lampard. And he was one of the factors that brought him to Chelsea Football Club was Frank Lampard. He said it when he first joined us, and apparently he said it in an interview recently as well. Now, a lot of people have taken that to mean that he is unhappy to play under Tuchel. Now, that's rubbish. The people who have put that spin on it don't know what they're talking about. Because as a professional football player, as a player who has been to a number of different clubs in his career, Hakim Ziyech knows managers come and go. The fact that he wanted to play under Lampard, it's a testament to Lampard's history, Lampard's legacy, but it was not the be all or end all of his stay with Chelsea, his dedication to Chelsea. He came to Chelsea to play for Chelsea Football Club. Lampard left, Tuchel came on. That doesn't impact him. What impacts him maybe is the system Tuchel plays, maybe the formation Tuchel plays, maybe the injuries that Hakim Ziyech had while he is at Chelsea. In regards to playing time, in regards to performances, in regards to form, Hakim Ziyech has been a good servant to Chelsea Football Club, and he has played well. He was a vital member of the Champions League winning side. Him and Timo Werner had some fantastic performances together. We seem to forget that. We seem to forget the contributions that he made to that winning team, to that title. Hakim Ziyech had a bad injury on day one of his start of the season against Brighton. Last season, pre-season friendly, he got injured. It hindered his progression season one. This season, he had a very good start to pre-season and again gets an injury in the Super Cup, which puts him out for the beginning of the season. And by the way, we are still in the beginning of this season. And Hakim Ziyech missed a big chunk of that because of that injury. Now, a lot has been said about his performances. A lot has been said about him not being strong enough physically, not being able to do it. Mentally, he's got a different mindset. We haven't given him the opportunity. We haven't given him the time. He hasn't given himself the opportunity. He hasn't given himself the time because of the injuries, because of the situations he's been in. Has he performed badly? Yes. In some games he has. And others he's performed well. He's performed really, really well. Now, is this story about him going to Borussia Dortmund, is this story accurate? Maybe. It may not be. We had a similar story last transfer window about him going to AC Milan. If it is true, I can see why he would want to leave. On loan or even on a permanent, I can see why he would want to do that. Every player needs to look out for himself, his career, as well as performing well for the club that he's at. Now, if he sees the fan base against him, the media against him, everywhere he turns, everywhere he looks against him, and he gets an offer to go elsewhere, put yourself in his shoes. What would you do? Now, I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying this story is accurate. But I'm saying put yourself in his shoes. In regards to Rudiger, his contract negotiation. In regards to Christensen, his contract negotiation. The club is now offering something more closer to what they demanded 2 years ago, because 2 years ago is when these contract negotiations started. And the club were adamant not to give them what they wanted. And now we are getting closer to the end of their contracts. They're giving them a little bit more, even though they are able to talk to other clubs next month, 2 months, to negotiate contracts for themselves. We have put ourselves in that position. We, Chelsea Football Club, have put ourselves in that position with Antonio Rudiger and Christensen. Callum Hudson-Odoi was offered a loan deal at the start of the season. I think it was Borussia Dortmund, and we decided not to let him go. We decided to keep him because we wanted him to stay in the team. We needed him in the team to give him a chance to prove himself in the team. We did that. Tuchel did that. Right decision, wrong decision, Tuchel's decision. But now he's also uncomfortable, unhappy because he's not playing enough, and he's not playing enough in his position. Most recently, we started to see him being played in his position, but he hasn't been doing that on a regular basis. He's not happy with that. Pulisic seems to be fit to play for the USA, but not fit to play for Chelsea Football Club. Great goal today. Big up to him. But why are we in this position? And why are we talking about Pulisic possibly being sent out on loan? Kepa Arrizabalaga, talk about him going out on loan to Juventus, to Lazio. Kepa Arrizabalaga is our number 2. And we do need to have a decent number 2, which he is a decent number 2. Why are these stories being talked about right now? You see, we could say that these stories are just rumors, just fake news. We can say that. If there wasn't any smoke linked to that fire, but we all know there is smoke there. So this, for me, is a problem. And this is why I'm making this video. This is why I'm making the stream. Because I want to talk about this problem. I could be way off base here. I could be totally wrong. I could be misreading this whole thing. Could be. And if I am, hopefully we will see that tonight. Because I want to address this with you guys in the chat, with Max Burton, MDT, and the rest of the panelists when they do arrive. And I know Boogeyman will be here later on. I know he's got a couple of things he's got to do. But we got guys coming in to discuss this with us. So, this is the topic. MDT, Max, big up to you. Welcome to the stream. Give me your take on this whole situation. I want to hear what you guys are feeling right now in respect to this.
Right. Okay. I did a video this yesterday addressing all these. Obviously, when you've got the international break, you're going to always have these sort of stories coming out, because they need something to fill the papers with, don't they? And there's always going to be, if anyone's not playing in the side, then they're going to be linked with other clubs. That's just natural, because they're going to be reporting that people are unhappy. Let me address the players one by one, as you said. The Hakim Ziyech situation. Since he's come, his performances have been indifferent. He's still trying to find his feet in the Premier League. Yeah, I think the pace of the Premier League, something that he hasn't quite got used to, because he's the guy who likes a bit of time on the ball, and you're not afforded that sort of time in the Premier League. He scored some vital goals for us as well. So he's not been a flop, as some said, but he's not been that roaring success. I'd just put him down to being a bit average at the moment. And obviously he came up to play a certain system under Frank Lampard, and once Frank Lampard left, we play a slightly different system where it doesn't quite suit his game under Tuchel. He's been tried. When you look at him, when he looked quite decent for Chelsea, that's when he was playing more of like an inside right, and then he linked that well with Reece James. So when he used to go in, Reece James used to go on the outside of him sometimes. And then we were getting some good angled crosses. Reece James was whipping them in from one angle, and he was whipping them in with his left foot on a different sort of angle. So it's most of his best games were under Frank. I think sometimes it was a bit of an attitude thing where he didn't want to work for the ball. Because if you look, when you play in the Dutch league, most of the games are easy, aren't they? So there's only 4 or 5 really big games that you have to sort of try. You can be, you don't have to be at your maximum for all those games and still look quite good. But the mindset in the Premier League is slightly different. You need to be on top of your game all the time. There's no room for sort of passengers. I'm not saying there's a passenger, but I'm saying there's no room for those sort of indifferent performances, especially when you've got competition. There's a lot of competition for places, and at a club like Chelsea, you have to compete at your maximum all the time. Otherwise, there's somebody else waiting to take your place. So I've seen a bit more in the last couple of games with his work rate. He's been tracking back a bit more. So when he gets the chance in the team, he has to take his opportunity and grab it and just say, look, I'm going to be in the side to stay. So it's up to him where he wants to go. So the links with RB, was it Dortmund? Sorry, yeah, Dortmund. The other earlier was linked to Milan,
AC Milan.
AC Milan earlier on. If he's not guaranteed first team spot and he wants to play, then maybe. Not because of the internationals, because he's not playing at the moment. There's a fallout with his manager, so the African Cup of Nations he's not going to be involved in, I don't think. But yeah, he'll have that conversation with Tuchel, I think, and they'll decide what's best for him. If Tuchel says, "Look, I still need you this season, and you've got a role to play. You need to prove yourself," then yeah, because it's still in our hands, isn't it? He's got 3 more years left on his contract, 4 more years, so it's still in our hands. And if he leaves, it's going to be because Tuchel's told him that he can't guarantee him any space in the team. Kepa's story is a load of nonsense. You know, that is sort of rubbish. I rubbished that one yesterday straight away. And the reason being is because of the African Nations Cup, which I talked about earlier. So he's going to have to fit in, you know, as our number one with, is it Bettinelli or Benatelli, whatever his name is, as our backup goalkeeper. So he'll get a chance to play games. And he's what Tuchel has done with him as well, which I like, is he's got him involved in the team because he's our cup goalkeeper, isn't he? He plays in the League Cup. Even when it comes to penalties, he's trusted. He comes on as and he, you know, as a penalty. So he's involved in this team. And even now and again, Tuchel will probably put him in the odd league game like he did last season. So he'll get. Obviously, he knows he's not number one. But if he does leave, it's definitely not going to be this season. It'll be at the end of the season if we get a decent number 2 replacement. But yeah, I can't see him leaving this season at all, simply because of the African Cup of Nations. And with the other 2, Rudiger and Christensen, Christensen's story, that varies from day to day. 1 minute we're not close, the next minute we're close to signing. But as I said on the stream the other day, we just don't know what's going on. You know, there's speculation from both sides. So I'll just wait until, you know, what happens. You know, January is the sort of key time. If they haven't signed their contracts by January, then yeah, that's the time to be worried. But I think we'll just have to just wait and see, because there's going to be a lot of speculation around and those 2.
All right. I'm not quite with you on the Ziyech assessment. I think he has had a vital role. Yes, his performances were up and down. I agree with that, but I think he put in some good performances, some very good performances in the Champions League last season.
I was pushing it, to be honest.
His goal against Atletico Madrid wasn't vital.
No, but I'm saying overall, you know, has he been consistent? He hasn't been, and that's the reality of it all. He hasn't been consistent.
I agree with that. I agree. He has been up and down in regards to his performances, but he has put in some vital performances. Especially
but I said that. I said he did. He made some. He had some good contributions. I did say that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is he's inconsistent, and that's, you know, the stats don't lie. The eye test doesn't lie.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, that I agree with. And I think that there's reasons for that, and we all know, the time it takes to adapt to a new league, the time that it took everyone to adapt to the pandemic, and his injuries. Till this day, he's wearing a cast on his shoulder because of the injury he sustained in the Super Cup, which is still having an impact on him. I want to bring in MDT, but before I do that, I want to say hello to Julius. Julius, hello, welcome to the stream.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Julius.
Big up to you. It's good to see you here. I know it's hard for you with work and whatnot, but it's good to have you on the stream tonight. MDT. You heard my opening statement, my opening remarks. You've heard Max Burton's remarks as well. Do we have a problem, MDT? Do we have a problem in regards to players? I'm not going to say loyalty, because I know every single one of our boys is loyal to the club. But at the same time, every single one of our boys is, he's here for their career, and they want to live, and they want to play, and they want to make a name for themselves. Is Chelsea Football Club losing some vital players? I mean, one player that we talked about briefly in the past, and Max made a fantastic video about which we played on our last stream. The Atal Zalahai from Turkey. From Max, remind me the name of the team.
Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce. Yeah. This guy undoubtedly, he's a very good youngster, good talent. But we're going to be paying 20 million to sign him, plus whatever contract we're going to offer him, while we have two Champions League winners that could be on the way out because we're not giving them the contracts that they deserve. MDT, tell me your perception on this whole thing.
How are you doing, Julius? How is yourself and the family? Hope all is well.
Thanks, MDT. Good. Hope you're doing well as well. Thanks for asking.
Yes, I'm doing okay. Yeah, more like, let me just go with the Atalia, Zelia from Fenerbahce.
Yeah.
Atal, yeah. I'm not saying he's a bad player or whatever, but it's similar to Nicolas Sule. You remember the Bayern Munich defender? He's solid in tackling or whatever, but when he come into the Premier League, he's gonna need settling period. I don't believe that because Kabak at Norwich, he was at Liverpool. He was one of the best up-and-coming defender in Bundesliga. When he came to Liverpool, he struggled because teams are different. So I don't believe that he's going to come and fit in. It will take him 2-3 years to settle like every other defender at his age, 22, 23. Defenders don't build into being these superstars until they're 25, 26 most of the time. So for that, I don't know. I'll wait and see. I don't think because Chelsea have players similar age as him, like similar as Chalobah, that could do that job. If you give them the chance, in 2-3 years, they will be superstars. So with that one, I don't know. I'll wait and see what Chelsea does because it's not there yet. It's not a person that can come and replace Christensen or Rudiger. He's not ready yet. He's not ready for that. Okay. With the current players we have, like I'll start with Hakim Ziyech. I don't think he will go this winter. I don't see Chelsea losing any players this winter. Okay, but what I can say is this summer is a different game. But what happened is, with the international period coming in, most of the time players are unhappy. But these interviews maybe happened like a few weeks ago. But newspapers journalists will hold on to it and release it the time there's less news. Most of the time it happened when the player wasn't happy, like when they were not playing. But if you check, Hakim Ziyech had played the last 4 games out of 5 or 4 out of 6. Yes. So it could have been this interview was given or which information was given to somebody when he wasn't playing in the beginning of the season. But that person hold on to that story and release it now because now is the best time to have your traffic if you release news. Okay. And I don't believe he will leave. Summertime, everything will be evaluated because I believe even him will evaluate the situation. It's not only up to Chelsea. The players too, is their life. They have to see what's working for them or not. Okay, for me, I'm not going to begrudge anybody that. You have to make your own decision. Okay, with who's next? With you mentioned Callum?
Yep.
Callum, this report, this whatever they're talking about, was going to be, it was mentioned before he plays for Chelsea, the injuries. I'm telling you, it was put on hold. The journalists, they're just steering things now. They didn't publish it when he wasn't playing. They publish it now when he's playing. Okay, this information was because of Tuchel and the board didn't want him to go on loan. They kept him and they were not playing him. Okay, so they were saying if he wasn't playing, it would be better for his development to leave in January. But now he's playing. So technically, this news is like 6 weeks old, but they're releasing it now. So you see, this is what journalists do. They know how to like get to us. Okay, this is exactly what they did. They hold on to something. They were hoping that Callum will not be playing now. When they release it, it will be wonderful news. But that's not the case. And with Pulisic, with this situation is different. He is the superstar face of North American football. if he doesn't play 70 to 80% of games for Chelsea, he will leave. That's natural. He will not leave this definitely not this winter, like I said. But in the summertime, he will evaluate his situation because he's the face of US soccer. Okay, he's not going to be happy with playing 50%, 60% of game. No, he's not going to do that. And if I was in his situation, the same thing. It's nothing to do with him or Chelsea or whatever. He wouldn't want to be a big part player. Which we love the club, but we should see a human element as well. It's not all black and white. So for me, I see both sides. But I don't see him as well leaving now. I bet during the summer, it depends how many games he's been playing for Chelsea. If he plays 70 to 80% of our games, he will not leave. But if he played less than that, that discussion will come up. Okay, with Rudiger and Christensen situation, like if you guys see, I've sent you articles about this. This is Chelsea. They does this to everybody. That's how we've been operating for the past since Roman took over. Every one of our stars went through this. The club will wait until last minute to offer them contract. They will hope on the club, the players' loyalty to the club to stay. They might be doing it for financial reason, which I understood, because if you work in finance, it's better to renew a contract later than to renew it early. So in the club position, they're doing the right thing. But for fans, we are frustrated, which I understand both sides. The players too might be frustrated and said, oh, you waited until last minute and now you give me this. I'm not happy, I'm going. So that's within their right as well. So I'm going to wait until January and see. But I'm still hopeful, 60% hopeful that they both will stay.
Mo, I'm just curious here. And you said, sorry, just 1 second. You said it's better to sign it later than earlier financially. Now, can you clarify? Are you talking about because it will go under the next year's budget, or is it because it will be cheaper to do so? Because I'm not understanding it. Because right now
yes,
it won't be.
Yeah,
go on.
Yeah, because of financial fair play, how it works. It depends what time you sign a contract. Like if you sign a contract in the summer, it's calculated on this summer holiday or whatever before the January windows open. If you sign anything after January, it goes on your next year budget. So that gives you leeway to spend more money. The financial fair play rules. If you check it, that's why Chelsea signed Christian Pulisic in December, so he won't go into the. So that's what they do. It's good for the books. It's how to manage the finances.
To clarify, it's not cheaper money-wise, but financially better for the club.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
But newspapers will not print that because fans don't want to hear that. But these are the details. There are a lot of details involving contract. So these are the things. So that's why I don't have a go at either the club or the players, because they both are fighting for what's best for themselves. So so I just hope they come to a solid conclusion that benefits everybody and make the fans happy.
Okay. All right. Cheers, MDT. Cheers. Before I go to Julius, I want to say big up to Boogeyman. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? I can't hear you, Boogeyman. Nope, no audio. Is it plugged in? No, you're on mute. You're on mute now.
Hello?
Yep, now you're good. Now you're good. Big up to you. How you doing?
Hello, guys. Yeah, I'm good. I'm actually really good. Max?
All right.
Hey, Boogie Man. How you doing?
I'm good. MDT. Julius, you made it, yeah?
Hi, Boogie.
Did you wish your wife happy birthday from me?
Of course. Yo, I thought you just buy a gift and that's it. The thing is, I have to take care of all the
gift is in the post still. It's still in the post, man.
My wife said this weekend I have to take care of the kid. I have to do that. That's her weekend, so it makes everything really complicated on me, man. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Thanks for having me, man. I was a little late. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We'll come back. We'll come back to your weekend in a second. Julius, you there? I can't hear you, Julius. I think Julius might not. Julius, you here?
Yeah.
Julius, big up to you. Welcome to the stream, Julius. Julius, I'm gonna ask you the question in a summarized manner. players like Ziyech, like Callum, like Pulisic, there's a lot of stories linking them on a move, either on a loan or on a transfer. Some of these players have been underperforming. Some of these players have been injured. Some of these players have been, it's been said that they have attitude problems, X, Y, and Z issues and scenarios. Do you think there is any truth to these stories about these players possibly leaving? And if so, if there is truth, should Chelsea be looking to replace Champions League winners with players that have no experience in the Premier League? And is Chelsea making a mistake in the way they're handling the Rudiger and the Christensen situation? Now, this is the broad topic of today's video. I have seen what MDT was alluding to in his comment. He did send me those reports, those articles, when it came to John Terry renewing his contract, Frank Lampard renewing his contract, and all of the banter that was involved around that, and how the club delayed it, and how the club, pushed for a certain route, certain path for those contracts, and the way they were eventually signed. So Chelsea do have a history of making it complicated when it comes to signing their good players to extensions for some reason. So give me your thoughts on all these topics, man. Give me your thoughts on this a summarized manner.
Obviously, Mo, my stances in general towards the board overall. I'm not too fond of some of the stuff they've done in the past and even in the present. We always have a history of ruining our team after a successful season and throwing the manager under the bus in a way as well. But the one thing that, from what I've seen from Tuchel in the past almost a year now, is that Tuchel has a proper system. For example, he built our system around our defenders to have a solid defense, and from there we can build. And that was the main thing for Thomas Tuchel. So in my opinion, Rudiger and Christensen, before Tuchel, everyone wanted them out, and they were mediocre at best defenders. They became amazing. They became world class under Thomas Tuchel. So something tells me at the same time that you could take out the player from the system and it's not going to affect us, because whoever you're going to slot in instead, Tuchel will make him as good. So I know with the
big statement. I'm looking at Max's face. A big statement, there, Julius.
I don't agree with that. But I'll come afterwards. I'll let you talk.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not taking away anything from what Christensen and Rudiger did. Obviously, they've grown, especially Christensen. He's been with us from a younger age, and he's developed his game over the time. And I'm a big fan, and I obviously don't want them to go. I don't want them to go. Why would we get rid of them? Or why would we sell Champions League winner? But what I'm trying to say is that I am not too worried as long as we protect our manager and we basically don't do something that is not that he's not agreeing with. I think it's not going to be the end of the world, because I truly believe that Thomas Tuchel can turn any player into world class as long as they believe in the system he's trying to put them in, as long as they can implement his instructions. Because you cannot convince me in 9 months Rudiger is obviously now considered probably the best center back in the world. Out of, like, you can't just say, oh, it's not Thomas Tuchel who helped him become world class. He's been with us for how many years? He played under Sarri. He's played under Lampard. nothing special. All of a sudden, Thomas Tuchel comes in, he becomes one of the best, if not the best, centre back in the world. That's not a coincidence. Christensen, people used to banter him. Chelsea fans, he's not good enough for Premier League. He's weak. He keeps falling. Remember how many times we conceded goals of his 50-50 challenges, and he falls on the ground. We end up conceding because of that. So I'm not saying they're not amazing defenders and we should sell them. No, I'm saying we have a system, and in my opinion, any defender who's decent can come in and can do well. Look at Chalobah. Look at Malang Sarr. When they played, they looked good. With a little bit of experience, maybe a year from now, they could become as good as Rudiger and Christensen. Now, obviously, we should not sell them, and that's on the board. I'm not gonna say anything now about this. I'm not gonna attack the board in a harsh way, like I usually do, because I'm gonna wait until we see what happens. But my main focus here is Thomas Tuchel. That's the guy that we should make happy. If selling these two players, or Ziyech even, or Hudson-Odoi, is against his wish, then we're digging our own grave, basically. So honestly, Mo, I haven't read any report at all. I've been disconnected from football for the past week or so since the Burnley game. I really have, like, if you guys that were not talking about this today, I have no clue what's going on. So I'm just giving what I think in general. So in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, as Chelsea fans, we need to support Tuchel. We need to make sure the board is not doing things like they usually do against his wish. Because that would be the beginning of the downfall and probably issues between the manager and the board. And we've seen it before. Let's not forget, we've seen it with every single manager we had, except maybe Lampard. It was a different situation, but anyone before Lampard, same issue, especially the successful managers we had. Yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, no, it's a good take. It's a good take. In regards to your emphasis on Tuchel being the reason why certain players are performing in to a certain level, I'm sure. In fact, I'm positive he's had a big impact on the performances of both Christensen and Rudiger. Malang Sarr and Chalobah are also performing well under Tuchel. Now, how much influence has Tuchel had on that? I'll say a lot. But at the same time, I don't think he had to work all that hard to get them to do that, because I think there were good players there. I think the system, I think the instructions that were given to them in the past were inadequate. I mean, we heard players saying that under Lampard, all he would say to them is, go out there and win the game, or go out there and play, or he wasn't giving them specific instructions in regards to how to play. And we know Tuchel is all about the specific instructions and the specific tactics. So it's definitely done something to improve them, but how much, we'll discuss that in a second. In regards to the contract situation, and in regards to players staying and support, and us as a club supporting our manager, Tuchel has said, many a time, how important and how valuable Christensen is to his side, Rudiger is to his side, and they are still not getting the contracts that they want from the club. Therefore, the club could be failing our manager. The club could be failing our manager, because if these players don't get the contracts that they want and they leave, and we end up having to scout and bring in players, and again, nobody heard of Edouard Mendy before we scouted him and brought him in to Chelsea Football Club. And look at Edouard Mendy. In my opinion, one of the best goalkeepers, if not the best goalkeeper right now. Okay, so Chelsea going out there and scouting and bringing in players, it might not be a disaster, but at the same time, I think we need to give our manager the option to keep the players that he wants to keep. We'll discuss this further. I want to give Boogeyman a chance to come in and give us his thoughts on these particular topics. Boogeyman, welcome to stream. Let me hear your thoughts, mate.
Yo, thanks for having me. Where to start? Arrizabalaga. I don't think he's going anywhere. That's the first thing. I'm pretty sure it's just international breaks, and they need to make news, and they want to add them in. I don't think he's going anywhere. Especially this January, I don't think he's going anywhere. And I just read the report when it comes to Sarri and Lazio. They want him, and then at the same time, we have to pay some part of his loan fees. So it just doesn't fit anything. We need him to be number 2. If it was like a huge fees or a huge transfer fees that Lazio is willing to pay, then I'm pretty sure Chelsea will look into it. But at this point, asking Arrizabalaga on loan and us paying half of it or all those things, while at the same time we need him to back to be at Chelsea when Mendy is an African Cup of Nations. So it just doesn't make any sense. So Arrizabalaga, I don't believe in the story. That's for sure. It's just paper talk. Next one is Ziyech. Ziyech one will always come because he used to be a top player in Netherlands and Ajax, and then came to Chelsea, and he pretty much the face of this a lot of people, like primarily people with Arabic backgrounds, and then they're not happy. I mean, that guy's dragging a lot of people. A lot of people like him, like Chelsea because he is a Chelsea, like especially Chelsea fan with Arabic background. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of frustration not seeing him play all day in, day out. But we have to accept that the fact that Chelsea is a big team. It's not, you have to fight for your position. You have to take it. It's not about the coach giving you the position just because you are you big in Netherlands. No, you have to prove, you have to show something more than just what you're showing. Again, credit to Hakim. The last 2 games, I would say, oh no, the last game he didn't play, if I remember properly. Well, yeah, his last few appearances, he played really good, but still not at the level where what he's shown in preseason. To me, that's my personal opinion. What he's shown in preseason, and I think I was 100% sure at that time he'll be starting most of our games, and then he got injured, and then all those things, all the cycle coming. But up to now, I still think he has to do more than what he did to really be a leader in the Chelsea attacking lineup. But he is in the way because, like I said, the last 2 appearances he did good. Hakim Ziyech going to Dortmund, I don't see that happen. Dortmund has a lot of attacking players. On loan, I think I heard on loan. I don't think we're loaning Hakim Ziyech to Dortmund because his salary, if you compare his salary to the other Dortmund players, he's going to be the highly paid one. And probably Dortmund also going to ask Chelsea to pay half of his salary. I don't think Chelsea is a business to help any other team just to let them win the league or whatever, unless Hakim Ziyech going there may allow us to get Haaland next season. I'm not too sure what will be the underline of that deal, but I don't think Hakim Ziyech is going in January because with all our injuries and the World Cup, the World Cup or the Club World Cup that is coming in December or someone in January, we cannot afford to let any of our player go on loan in January. So it's not going to happen, that's for sure. So Hakim stay. The next one, let me check the note again. The next one, Barkley. Barkley is not going anywhere, especially this January. Not because of the report, because I also read the report that said because of the Saudi that took over Newcastle, Premier League club have some ill feelings because of the way they took. I just think it's a joke. who care about how the Newcastle get the money in? We don't care, or we don't want him to stay in the Premier League so they can become a force next season. I don't see that happen. Whether we prevent him to be force next season or not, they're coming back to Premier League. They're not gonna stay more than one season in Championship first because the money is there now. Whether it is this season or next season or in 2 seasons, they're going to be there. We should do our business and not really care too much about Newcastle. I think if Newcastle give us 60 million or 70 million for Barkley, yeah, he will go. But I don't think any loan deal like they're asking for now. I don't think Barkley is going anywhere. He start proving us who Barkley is. Like the last, especially against the game against Burnley, I've seen a lot of good about Barkley, and I think he's also staying. It might just be too much staying, but I don't think we will get rid of any of our best player, our good player. This January is not going to happen. I just paper talks at this point. The last one, which is Rudiger and Christensen. I didn't really read did not read the text that you say MTD sent to you. I can't find them at this point. But I did some research before and I checked Frank Lampard contract renewal in 2012. I think somewhere in 2012 where his contract expired in June. And then in January, Frank Lampard agent had said Frank Lampard will not be renew his contract at the end of, will not be given a new contract at the end of his actual contract. And then, so January, his agent said something like that. And in March, they read an agreement that Frank Lampard renew his contract 3 months before the actual contract finished. So it's not new things. The reason why I'm talking about this is I'm pretty sure we're going to go in December, January, February. Rudiger and Christensen contract are not going to be. They're not going to reach any agreement. It will always be the same thing. So yesterday or the day before we talk about the fact that by December we need to find an agreement. I can guarantee you, I'm 100% sure that even in December, Chelsea is not going to reach any agreement with both. And February, they're not going to and it's going to go all the way to the line, to the last minute or last few weeks before they find an agreement. Then that's when I joined Julius, where he said, listen, at the end of the day, we support Chelsea team. Rudiger and Christensen become top player under Tuchel. And we saw Malansa, and sometimes maybe we ask too much or we worry too much for nothing. Like if Rudiger decided to leave, okay, we wish him all the best. And I'm pretty sure that we may go through some imbalance or some difficult time in defense, but we will end up adjusting. We will adjust at one point. If we keep Christensen, it's good. If Christensen also wants to go, then so be it. We will move people around and find a balance. Whether I would wish it will be with Tuchel, but I wouldn't cry if for those because of we didn't keep Rudiger and Christensen. Result go sad where we don't end up in top 4 and the Tuchel has to be sacked. I'm not gonna cry about it. It's what it is. Chelsea is the result team. If they try Rudiger and Christensen, we cannot keep them, then we'll just go through the earthquake and then we will adjust, and in 2 years we'll be there again. So me, at this point, I just think all those subjects we talk about is more the international break bringing them up. But at the end of the day, there's nothing I can say, and Rudiger and Christensen one are the one that worries me, and especially Christensen. I'm frustrated with him because we shouldn't be as a Chelsea fan following this team since some age now, and then Christensen is part of the history. And then I don't like the whole thing. I don't like someone from the academy building all those issues. I just more and more I'm talking about Christensen, more I want him out. He can go now because at the end of the day, He used to be weak a few seasons ago. Even John Terry screamed at him, defenders should not be sitting on the floor all the time. You have to stand your ground. Now he finds someone playing good and he thinks he's something to his way too bigger than the club. He can go and go play whatever he wants to go. But at this point, that's the way it is, man.
Can I step in?
No,
Can I?
All right. No, one second. There is a few. There's a lot of points raised by everyone here. I want to cover a few of them before we get into the main debate. The first one I want to cover is this. MDT said that a lot of these reports are fake. And he said they're fake not as in they're not true, but they're fake as in they're not relevant today. As in these stories may have been collected 3-4 weeks ago, but are only being reported now when there is no news to be talked about, and therefore the journalists are focusing on them today. But these stories may not be relevant today. And
That's
we
a
were
high
talking.
probability.
Yes. So this reflects upon the Hakim Ziyech story, the Pulisic story, Callum Hudson-Odoi story. To a certain degree, the Ross Barkley story, even though I think Ross Barkley's story has more legs than the rest of them, because Ross Barkley and Newcastle being where they are in their careers and their development, I can see it happening. And I can see Chelsea making a decent amount of money on that, should it go through. But I think what MDT said in respect to that is quite accurate. Now, what do you guys? What's your guys' take on this? I mean, I know Julius, for example, did do some journalism in the past, so he could tell us if this is something that is, that happens on a regular basis, or what. I mean, I want to spend a couple of minutes just addressing this point. And Max, since you were about to speak, I'll let you take the lead on this particular factor or aspect.
Yeah, before I do this, I just want to address something that both Julius and Boogeyman said before regarding Christensen and Rudiger. Okay, granted, the coaching of Thomas Tuchel has helped them become better players, but we've got to remember, guys, that these guys were good players before. Okay, Christensen's problem was his mentality thing. It's not only Tuchel, I think it's also the likes of Rudiger and Silva who've toughened this guy up a bit. And I'll address the other bit I was going to say about this when I'm talking about the journalism. But with regards to Rudiger, what he's given us, we got to remember that he was injured a lot. He had a really bad knee injury before he came to Chelsea.
Max, I'm actually going to cover all of these separately. So,
okay. Yeah, all right. Let me just go on to this other point then about journalism. Yeah, so MDT is correct. There's always going to be reports regarding. As I said, in a slow season, because they want to sell paper or get clickbaits. Nowadays, they don't sell a lot of papers, so it's all about clickbait on social media now and clicking onto their articles and things. Is there any substance to these stories? Probably not. That's why you have all these different conflicting stories, and that's like when Boogeyman said about he's got no time for Christensen, but you're basing that on the reports that you're reading from the newspaper. How do you know these reports are true about his demands and everything else? We don't know that. So no, we don't know that. We don't know that because
I'm not saying that the report. I'm basing my my feelings based on the fact that his contract is running out in June, and Christensen has grown with the Loftus-Cheek and all those. And those Loftus-Cheek does not hesitate when there's a contract in front of him. He just loved Chelsea, and so he signed it. And when you're part of the academy, I will that's how I feel. I will feel like you have some sort of loyalty, and you don't want to get into all those. Okay, the journalists put it out.
But also what you got to remember
that are not true and all those things. I just think like
fair enough. Yeah. But to just put the sole blame on a player, I think that's totally unfair as well. Because if you look at his dad, who was his agent, remember his dad was for ages when he used to play. His dad used to get involved. If he doesn't play a certain amount against the Chelsea, I'll move my client on or whatever. So sometimes it's not a case of the player and just putting on the player. Look at Lukaku, for instance. Lukaku wanted to join us before he joined Manchester United, but it was Raiola who directed him, said it told him where he needed to go. And there's other situations where, specifically Raiola and some others, where they follow their agent against their wishes. I don't understand why, because they're the player, they should have the cards. But sometimes the agent plays a bigger role in influencing the player on their next career path. But so the journalists, as I said, we see it with Chelsea news. Sometimes, it's all going rosy in the garden at the moment, so it's fine. But whenever there is something going on, like when Frank Lampard was going to leave, all of a sudden you had all these stories being leaked, maybe from, I'm not sure, from players or whatever, but you get all this negative press, which is always surrounding Chelsea. And, wait for one bad result and you're going to see the negative press. It's like this player wants to leave, that player wants to leave, this player's unhappy, that player's unhappy. And as I said, it's people.
Max, regarding this player unhappy, that player unhappy, could that be the reason why we are seeing this particular story regarding Hakim Ziyech? Because Hakim Ziyech does give that perception today that he is unhappy, either with the amount of games he's been played, either with the way he's been treated in the media, the way that he's been singled out in his performances, while he's not being given the same standards as other players. So maybe he feels unhappy, and maybe this is the reason why we are seeing these stories, and this is the reason why there could be belief in some of these stories. Oh, well, we know Hakim Ziyech unhappy, so him being linked to Dortmund may actually be a true story. Could that be why why we're seeing these reports?
Yeah, but he's not really been singled out as much as any other player. And Werner's had the same sort of criticism as he has, and others. Max.
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying that the perception he may have, because right now, we've seen him every time he has a dip in form, or every time he's been away for a while, then he comes back and he scores. He always addresses it to the camera as like, look, I can do this, I'm good. It's like he's trying to prove something to someone. Who is that someone? Is it us, the fans? Is it his family? Is it people in the media? Who is he trying to prove it to?
It should be himself, first of all, trying to, what you do to try and prove it.
He wouldn't need to go to the camera to do that first himself.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, with him, I could see that obviously this is something. That with him, I don't think there's something about speculation. I think it's more that he is unhappy, because there were direct quotes from him about the Lampard situation. Now, he was unhappy that when Lampard left, he was brought in by Lampard to play with Lampard under a specific with a system that Lampard had. So those were quotes which came directly from him. So for me, what that's saying to me is that he's not quite happy in the role that he's got at the moment. In Tuchel, it's a slightly different role. He's probably not comfortable in this particular role that he's playing at the moment. So obviously, when you see those quotes in the press and you see him linked with other clubs, then the journalists can say, okay, he's not on there. They could then tie that in to say maybe another club are interested in him, or it could be a genuine thing where other clubs are interested in him. Even if you look at the Callum Hudson-Odoi story, last at the end of the window, a lot of people were questioning whether it was true or not. Because remember, we had conflicting stories. I think it was Jan Alpiltoff who said, yeah, he's still willing to let him go, and then some people said they didn't want to let him go, etc., etc. And some people said that he asked to be put out on loan, and others said, oh no, he wants to stay. But what if, Thomas Tuchel said it in his press conference a couple of weeks ago after he's played a few games and some decent performances. In fact, he did want to go. He did want to go out on loan, and he requested the club to go out. But Thomas Tuchel was the one who said, "No, we need you this season. You're going to be playing some games." So there was when the press reported, there was truth in that story, and it came out later. So sometimes we may not know the full truth. Sometimes it may be a fabrication, but sometimes it may be. And a lot of times it's kind of halfway between the truth and not the truth, because the club are going to deny sort of things. Sometimes the player may deny it, and it's only later down the line that we find out the real truth of the story.
Does anybody else want to add anything in regards to this particular point?
Yes.
Yes. So
So I agree with MDT as well regarding the articles not being true. So I used to write some articles and do some stuff for an organization, and I'll tell you how it works behind the scenes. So you have multiple journalists, and then they come up and they say there hasn't been much going on in terms of news. What should we write about? Let's think of something that could attract attention or could get traction. And basically, these people, they just sit down and think of ideas, and they come up with whole stories based on speculations or situations, real life situations. And they come up with a story, they publish it, and that's what happens. Like now, obviously, not every single journalist does that, but you have to consider that it's a business too. People, like, they have to make money. These agencies or these pages, they need to get attention. They need to have stuff every single day published. Every day, they cannot go a day without publishing an article or a news or something. You know what I mean? So there is a lot of nonsense from the media, especially these days, and more is about Chelsea, because we all know Chelsea is targeted by the media as well. They love to find any crack, and they're gonna try to target it. Now they're gonna try to unsettle the players or the club by spreading rumors. At the end of the day, we may have all these players stay for and renew their contract, and maybe one of them may be utilized, or two of them may be utilized for a deal that could involve Haaland in the next summer. Who knows? But I completely agree with MBT. These are not true stories for sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, it does make sense.
I just want to.
Make sense. Sorry, MDT. It does make sense. I mean, a lot of reports that come out within a few days, they are debunked by other journalists or by the players themselves or by the clubs themselves. So I agree. We got to take everything with a pinch of salt. MDT, go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing Boogeyman said about players leave, players come. That's true. That's correct. That's wonderful. But if you guys can remember, when we let go of William Gallas after we win back-to-back title because of contract issue, I never thought we'll miss him. He left Chelsea. He didn't achieve anything great after he left. But the year he left, that's the year we crumble. We get rid of him. SCN end up playing defense and Paulo Ferrara. And we get rid of Glenn Johnson as well, if you guys remember. So those players, because of they were not in our team, we lost two title because we were the best team in England and even in the world. But because of injury, the year when we left, I never thought I would miss William Gallas. But that season, we missed him in our team. We missed Glenn Johnson. Okay. Because of a player is playing in your team well, sometimes you don't think you don't need him. We can replace him. But after that title, after the double, we didn't win any title until Ancelotti. And when Ancelotti won the title, what mistake did we do? We let go of Michael Ballack, Joe Cole. They didn't win anything after they left us, but because of they make our squad weaker, we replaced them. But the replacement didn't settle. What happened? Ancelotti too was fired after the second season. We have history of destroying our team. Sometimes when a player is playing in your team, you're winning. There's no need to change them. If you're not winning, you can change them. That you can recycle certain players, but certain players, our titles, winning titles are based on our defense, not our attack. If you check, that's our history. Whether with Mourinho, Ancelotti was the only one that won the title with our attack. What I'm saying, we can replace Rudiger, we can do whatever. But what I'm saying, we shouldn't make the same mistake we make with William Gallas. We shouldn't make the same mistake we made with Michael Ballack. So sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. We can replace them. We move on, like Boogeyman said. But the
Yeah,
thing is, we have history.
Can I add something quick?
Hold on, Boogeyman. This is a good way to go into the comments that Julius made. You see, Julius stated that Tuchel made Christensen and made Rudiger the players they are today. How accurate is that statement? How accurate is, the influence or the impact of Thomas Tuchel on our squad today? Now, because we are, tactically wise, we know he changed a lot when it comes to tactics, system, the way we play, the way we approach the games. But to make players better, that's a big statement. That's a bold statement. How accurate is that? Because what MDT is saying today, what MDT is saying now is, if we lose these players, it'll be hard to replace. But if we go by Julius's logic, we can bring in good defenders, and they'll be brilliant defenders under Thomas Tuchel. So which is the approach we should take? Stick with what we have, or not be afraid to bring somebody else in? I'll let Boogeyman speak on this, and I'll go back to Max, because I know Max wanted to address this comment as well. Go on, Boogie.
I kind of agree with what MDT say. We should keep them, but we should not keep them at all costs. If the club believe in certain structure, especially when it comes to their wages, say we cannot do more than this. And like we all said before in the previous streams, that it may cost more when it comes to the transfer fees and the salary. It may cost more to bring a new defender. For example, the Fenerbahce defender, probably 20 million or 40 million. I don't really know. Can't remember what the fees will be, and that 40 million can be invested in Rudiger directly and just keep him here for 2 years or 3 years. But the thing is, if the renew Rudiger contract will be 200,000 per week, which is outside of the contract structure, the wage structure that Chelsea have for the defender, it's not worth it. We cannot destroy our club just to satisfy or to keep a specific player. So that is my logic. I want Rudiger to stay if he accepts the condition or the structure that the club exists based on certain structure. If he cannot fit himself into those structure, then he has to go, and he can go. And matter of fact, I told you way back that if I was Rudiger, I'm not staying at Chelsea. As long as I have a contract at Real Madrid, when they're trying to offer me £400,000 a week, my decision is already made at that point. It's not even. I'm not going to negotiate anything unless Chelsea say they will pay me the 400, which I know they will never. So if I was Rudiger, I'm already gone. Chelsea has to know that I'm not renewing my contract. But as a Chelsea fan, I don't want Chelsea to destroy their structure for Rudiger. If Rudiger cannot fit himself into the structure we have, he has to go. It's simple. That's the way I see Rudiger and Christensen. Christensen, the loyalty thing I talk about, I think Mas addressed it properly, so I won't comment too much on it. So I want them to stay, and I know we will win more cup when they stay. But I'm willing not to win the next cup, and I'm even willing to get Tuchel fired next time if I'm having winning a cup is more the prestige of the club, but the club existence or the club being there it depends on how they manage the economics and their structures. So I don't want any player to destroy that structure, or I don't want Chelsea to do too much sacrifice with a particular player. To just because we want to keep them. I'd rather sacrifice 1 or 2 cups and even a coach that I like being fired.
That's very wrong, Juan. That's absolutely wrong, because winning trophies win you more fans, sells you more shirts, gets you more branding exposure and bigger deals and sponsorships. It's so important, in my opinion, to have a structure and have it based on football, not pure business and finance, because that's Arsenal Football Club or that's Manchester United. That's how I look at it. But I agree with you. Sorry?
That's how Chelsea. That's how Chelsea also function. Because, like you said, we let Gallas go, and we're still here, Chelsea fan, and we love the club. Even if it takes 5 years to win other title, it will have to take the 5 years to win the next title.
Yeah, but that's that's not good. Like the point, I think I don't want to get into this topic because it's gonna diverge from the main one regarding the players. But I agree with you, Boogeyman, and I said I want them to stay. I want them to stay, but I don't want people as well to forget what was the sentiment towards these two players as well, because it's really clearly we do forget. 9 months ago, everyone wanted them out. All of a sudden, they're good players now. No, they had good foundations, of course. Tuchel made them world class. That's the point. So Azpilicueta has been world class for 10 years. That's the difference. Azpilicueta, and with every manager, he was consistent. He delivered to the highest level. Rudiger was a joke a year ago or 2 years ago. Christensen was a joke a year ago or 2 years ago. That's my point. Now,
No, yeah, I agree. Sorry, go ahead.
Should we let them go? Absolutely not. Why would you let go two of your main players in defense, also Champions League winners? Been with Tuchel now for a year. They understand the system. They have been with the club for so long. The stability is very important. There is a lot of aspects on why we should keep them, and there is a lot of reasons why I would be so pissed off at the club if we get rid of them and if we don't sort this out. But at the same time, what my point is, I want people to acknowledge that Thomas Tuchel made those players world class. And I bet you anything, I'm willing to put money on it. Once these guys go to another team, they're not going to be as good as they are now with Chelsea.
Right, let me have my say now. I think that's total nonsense, basically. These guys were good players. Okay, yeah, okay. As I said before, with the Rudiger situation, Rudiger had a bad knee injury coming into Chelsea. When he came, and then he had another injury. So obviously that affects your game and may stop your career progressing for what it is. Did Tuchel come and improve him? Most definitely he did. But just to say that he can come and improve anybody and turn them into world-class players, no. No, the player has to have something about them first. And then if Thomas Tuchel can work with them to make them better, then that's fine. Okay, so Rudiger wasn't a joke. He has some average performances, yes. And he had some decent performances. Christensen was always a good player. Christensen, the reason why the club didn't let Christensen go originally was because they saw something in him as a player, and they just felt that he just needed to improve on a couple of things, like mentality and strength on the ball, etc., to make him I wouldn't say they're world class, but to make him a top defender, which
So, Max,
he has
Max,
been. Okay, no, hold on, let me finish first.
No good.
Right. The thing is, when you guys are saying, okay, Rudiger's replaceable, someone else can come in or whatever. Qualities of a defender, maybe, but what Rudiger offers us is more than just his defensive ball playing ability or his defensive ability. What he has character. Yeah, he has leadership qualities. He has that nastiness in his game. So not every single defender is, it's hard to find defenders with that right mentality. That's why at Liverpool, when they lost Van Dijk last season, they suffered badly for it. It's not only that Van Dijk is a good player on the ball; he's a leader. He directs their defence. He organises that back line, similar to what John Terry used to do for us. John Terry organised our back line. If John Terry was to leave at any moment within those 10 years, we wouldn't have won half as much as we did with him, even if we had got in a player with his abilities, with similar abilities to John Terry, because if they lack their leadership qualities and the organisational skills at the back, it doesn't matter how good they are as a defender as well, then those other attributes will be missing. So that's what I'm saying about some players. They say, okay, it's easily replaceable, but there's more facets to look at. It's not just about the way they play. We've got to look at all the aspects of their game. And for me, that's why Rudiger would be a big loss if he went. So Boogeyman.
First Christensen. You said Christensen was a good player and his mentality Tuchel improved his mentality. It's pretty much that's how you resume you do the interpretation of criticism. My point is, whether you are good or not, I'm pretty sure all our academy players are good. If you don't have the right mentality, then you don't play high level, right? So what I'm trying to say is, so if Christensen right now go to another team, will the coach need to work on his mentality also to keep him at the high level? Because Christensen keeps saying, the coach that I have right now has a trust of me because I'm playing in my good football and I'm playing under a coach that trusts me. That was he's the right coach, coach. Yeah. So that's so I'm happy here and I would like to stay. So if Christensen move to another city or whatever, another team, and the coach does not trust him, do you think we will have the same Christensen?
Everyone needs a coach to trust them. If you don't have a coach who doesn't trust you, then is it the player's fault or the coach's fault? You can't say that. It goes hand in hand because he went on loan. He had for Borussia Mönchengladbach. He was excellent there. They wanted to buy him outright, but Chelsea said no, we don't want to sell him. So he came in. It's always difficult, because when he came back to Chelsea, we had some defenders who were ahead of him in the pecking order, and so when you come into a side, when you're not really established in the side, you're going to have to try and prove yourself in that role. So sometimes you can see it with Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think, as well. Sometimes he thinks he has to do a bit more than he does to try and get his place in the side, or keep his place in the side. So sometimes you may overcomplicate things a bit. But if you've got the trust in your manager, then it's good. Because I've seen somewhere before, I can't remember which player it was. He said, one of the managers said to him, look, I'm going to give you 6 or 7 games. I don't care if you're not playing well, you're still going to get that run in the side. So he had that confidence, knowing that even if he didn't play to the best of his ability, he's still going to play the next game and the next game and the next game. I don't think it was for Chelsea, it was for another club, by the way. But he said, when the manager said that to him, it gave him a lot of confidence to do what he needed to do. And then he went on to establish himself to become one of the mainstays in the team.
Yeah, I understand that. So do you think that Christensen we saw under Frank Lampard, did the Frank Lampard has no trust in Rudiger? I'm talking about Christensen. Do you think Christensen did not perform? I mean, for me, he performed okay under Frank Lampard. Do you think we didn't see the best of Christensen because Lampard did not trust him?
I want to say something on this. Talking about trust, Boogeyman, is important because I think one of the factors that influenced or that impacted Christensen's performances was his belief in himself. And to believe in yourself, you normally feed off your manager, your coach. And I think Christensen didn't feel that Lampard had as much faith in him as he does today with Tuchel. I think Christensen today is a stronger defender, is a better defender because he believes that his manager has faith in him.
Yes.
And we saw a lot of the times that Christensen was failing. It was because he was nervous. He had an issue going to the toilet. I mean, you all heard about it. He would get nervous and he'd have to go to the toilet just before kickoff, and that would impact his performance. And that's no, you might laugh now, but it's a mental thing.
That's
it's an
thanks
emotional
to the
thing.
coach, though. That's thanks to the coach.
Exactly.
So,
and today we don't have that. Today Christensen can play in any game, and he would perform to the highest level because he believes his coach has given him that confidence. So confidence is an important aspect. Go on,
No, I understand.
Can I say this?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, like we all forgotten this. Like Tuchel has coached other teams before. When he came to Chelsea, his first word was he was surprised how good a quality of players we have in our squad. He couldn't believe the position we were in. That was his word. Because the players were already good players. What they lacked, it was a structure. He implemented that. Tuchel went to Paris Saint-Germain. They have Kepembe. He didn't make him a world-class player. He was at Dortmund. He didn't make those defenders world-class defenders. He came to Chelsea. The players were already, they have it within them. What they lack, it was the structure he provided. You cannot make it to a professional footballer and play for Chelsea if you don't have the talent. The only thing missing is direction. Before Mourinho came to Chelsea, John Terry wasn't a world-class defender. He was a very good up-and-coming defender. The same thing with William Gallas. He brought in Ricardo Carvalho. He was the only world-class defender we have. Within 2 years, John Terry was 24, 25 when Mourinho came. Within 2 years, by the time he was 26, 27, he was one of the best defenders in the world. But nobody said, oh, it's because of Mourinho. We give him the credit for growing up and becoming a man. Christensen is the same position. Rudiger, the same position. What they lack was a manager that will improve them and give them to express their talent. That talent was already there. What was missing is the direction. Boogeyman, all of us here, if we have a job, when we go in, your manager doesn't give you whatever, you know that they don't like you or they don't have faith in you. How would your performance be? Or when you have a manager that thinks that you are the best thing in the world, your performance increase. In any environment you are in, the structure improve you, whether by 5%, 10%, 20%. But if you're in an environment where they're telling you, even if you do anything great, they tell you that, oh, what are you doing? This is like this is like that. No matter how good you are, you will have a little bit of self-doubt. And self-doubt is a bad thing for a professional footballer, especially in this scenario. Because then when you doubt yourself, what happens is you make mistake. You second guess yourself. If anyone watch what Lampard said in his podcast with Joe Cole, what did he say? Mourinho told him, no matter what you do, you never coming off. Lampard will have a bad game. Mourinho, Max, it was Lampard that said that. Mourinho came into Chelsea, told him, you are my main man. But what did he do to Joe Cole? Joe Cole was being subbed after one mistake. He damaged his confidence. Managers can do that to players. Lampard was allowed to make any type of mistake until he improved and become the world-class Lampard. Lampard was 26, 27 when Mourinho arrived. Okay, he became world-class by 28, 29. Was Lampard a bad player before Mourinho? No, he has the talent. What he was lacking is the manager. Sometimes we have to look at it as two things. It's not only manager. If you don't have the talent, the manager cannot get it out of you. If you have the talent, you don't have the manager, you can't get it out of yourself. What was Van Dijk before he went to Liverpool? He was just a good defender. At 27, he went to Liverpool, he became a world class. So sometimes the talent is already there. You cannot make it to Chelsea without the talent.
Yeah. And another
That's
thing,
all I have
MDT,
to say on
yeah,
this topic.
great point. Another thing, MDT, regarding Lampard, it's also about the psychology of the game and how the manager makes you feel. Because I remember I've read the autobiography for Frank Lampard, and what he said, Frank, the first thing he said to him is, "You're the best midfielder in the world." Yeah, and he thought, "No, I'm not." But the fact that Jose Mourinho, at the time, the best manager in the world, is telling him, "Yes, you're the best midfielder in the world," it made him believe that he was the best midfielder in the world. So he gave him that belief.
Max. It didn't make him believe that he was the best midfielder in the world. It made him want to become that, because he said, I think he even mentioned that in the same interview MDT's talking about, and he said he started looking at Zidane and started to try to imitate Zidane, and he couldn't do that. But it was a factor that kept on driving him to become that best player. That Mourinho has seen. So what Mourinho said to him had an impact on him to push him forward. I also want to come back to MDT. Joe Cole also was influenced greatly by what Mourinho did with him, because it made him also push himself harder. But at the same time, he knew that he could never get that trust that Mourinho had for Lampard, because regardless of what he did, Mourinho would never acknowledge it with Joe Cole. And till this day, he's referring to that. I've seen it on a couple of occasions where Joe Cole has addressed that. Max, I apologize for interrupting you, man. Carry on.
No. I think I said what I wanted to say anyway.
Okay, I understand coach can have psychological breakthroughs for a player, so he can just trust himself and do whatever he wants to do on the field, or being the best of himself. I understand it. When it comes to Rudiger and Christensen, the next question is the fact: do Chelsea have to break their structure? I mean, I'm not talking about coach, the system or tactic wise, but I'm talking about financial right. Do Chelsea have to break their structure to accommodate two players that seem to want something Chelsea is not willing to give them?
But the question, Boogeyman, is Chelsea doing the right thing? It's not about breaking the structure. I want to be honest. I don't really know how much Rudiger and Christensen are asking for in their contract. I really don't.
That's
But
Julius. No one
can I?
does.
Can,
Right
but
now,
can I?
one second. From what we know, and that's what's been reported, is Christensen has been offered 140,000 a week, and Rudiger has been offered 175,000 a week.
Yeah.
That's what's been reported. Also, it's been reported that they're only requesting for a slight increase on that. Rudiger wants 200, and I think Christensen is the one who wants 175. Sorry, apologies. Christensen wants a 3-year contract. He's been offered a 5-year contract. So Christensen's issue is not with the money; it's with the length, and Rudiger's issue is with the money, as been reported. And again, we don't know if that is true.
If this is true, then if we don't actually give them their contracts, we are a joke of a club. Because what's wrong with
That's
what
one
they're
I
asking?
disagree.
Why?
Sorry.
Why? The guy won a Champions League. He's asking 200K. Check any other big club in Europe. If they have a Champions League winner, look how much they're getting paid. Look how much they would pay them. We need to act as a big club.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that Rudiger is getting paid
But
175.
Can I?
Yeah, 200 is not breaking the bank. 200,000 is not breaking the bank.
Yeah,
So,
but how much
I
you
agree
play?
with Judas.
Yeah, but how much player do we have in 100? I think it was someone shared a statistic last time. I think it was on your the Twitter setup we have, that Chelsea 88% of our expenses is wages, and while at the same time Tottenham is around 40 something, and the Liverpool is 70 something, and also it's not about.
Look at where we are. Look at where Tottenham are. That's why it's
No.
it's like that.
I understand that, but I know Barcelona has their wages is 100 something percent or 120 something percent, and I know there's a team that went over that 100, so it's not really sustainable. I understand that, but maybe that is the problem that Chelsea is trying to avoid. Maybe Chelsea doesn't want to reach that 90% of your expenses is only wages. That's why they cannot, because they have too many players like Hudson-Odoi in 140. They have all those players under. Where when you go to
Can,
Liverpool, maybe
Why?
Van Dijk.
can I answer this, Boogeyman? Can I answer this for you?
Can I finish? Can I just
Okay, sorry.
finish?
sorry.
2 seconds.
Can you guys see the wages here? Am I sharing? No.
No, it's not on the screen yet. Try again. It might take a second, Max.
So my issue with that is, I know for sure we have an offer on table for those players, and whether Chelsea will decide from now till June or where their contract expired, I'm now accepting the fact that Chelsea has done their best, and if those two players want to move on, then like they can go at this point.
Yeah, Boogie. One of the reasons why our 88% of our income goes to on wages. The past the past 7 years, our Champions League performance have been abysmal. We have not been generating as much income in the Champions League as we should. Okay, that's one of the reasons why our income in the Champions League has gone down. Commercial revenue is perfect, and our stadium corporate revenue as well, hospitality revenue is lower than those clubs you're talking about. And also, if you sign a new player, like example, if you sign a new player, the new player will always be on more money. Like Chilwell right now is 190. If you sign a Rudiger's replacement, you will pay them over 200,000 a week. I understand where you're coming from, but anyhow we look at it, we will end up paying more money to replace them in wages and in transfer fee. So we're not saving money. What we're doing is we're breaking more. Each of our new signings are earning more than our current players. Don't you think that's worse? Signing new players is worse than keeping the players you have.
So
Because Real Madrid and Barcelona is new players that cost them their wage structure. It's not their current players. It's signing new players.
And you see, and I just want to make one comment here. If you're looking at the wages, Boogeyman, look at Saul. Okay, he's 198. So we were willing to actually get him for pay him 198, but we're not willing to give Rudiger a 200k. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, just send him back from loan, and then you got the really good money. Job done.
I understand what you guys saying. I don't know if we sign Delete tomorrow, or if we sign Chouameni tomorrow, or I don't know how much their salary will come to. I'm not sure. I don't know how the salary will be structured. Maybe 180, or 200, and it'll be like if we win certain amount of the game, you keep your 200, and if we don't win or if you don't play, then we will have a basic salary of 120. I'm not too sure how those things are structured, but my point is this: as today, there's an offer on the table for both Rudiger and Christensen. Christensen seemed to say yes, and because of probably what happened to a hurricane, and you never know what's going to happen in 3 years, you want to be able to renegotiate your contract when you're 27 or 28. No, just he's trying to. That's why I'm frustrated with him, because he from the academy, he should be able to just be like, I'm here and I trust Chelsea. Even when I'm 30, I will go through the same 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1.
But,
I know.
but Boogeyman, why would he trust Chelsea? Why? If I'm him,
No.
I would.
Why? Yeah. The reason I said it clearly, because I gave so Christensen and Loftus-Cheek seem to be like brothers, and all those youth, the specific youth player like Loftus-Cheek, Mason Mount, Reece James, and I will add Chaloba now onto that thing. Those there's a few list of players that come out of our structures that seem like they don't want to be dragging the club into too much of speculations, and that's when I'm more harsh on Christensen. I feel like his stance right now is just too much for me to even can't even give him any credit. If he does not want, if he's trying to make too much out of this, just let him go, because I know for sure he's not gonna go to any club and be something bigger than what he is actually in Chelsea. Chelsea is a
sorry
bigger,
guys, sorry to interrupt. I need to move now. So
oh yeah,
So,
do you have
Max,
anything else to say? Go ahead. Sorry,
Max, just do me a favor. Can you send me a link to that in the group chat? So
I'll send it over to you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, sorry guys. Yeah, I got to run now. So
cheers, Max. Thanks for coming on.
Later.
Good to
Take
see
care,
you, man.
Cheers.
See you now.
Bye-bye.
Cheers,
Bye.
Max.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, man.
so when it comes to that's my problem with Christensen. When it comes to Rudiger, I want Rudiger to stay. I want him to stay. Matter of fact, I want all our players that won the Champions League, that won the Super Club, and that are playing right now. I want all of them to stay. From even Saul, I don't mind Saul because I think at one point he will bring something to this club. But to be honest with you, and I also know Chelsea may be dragging this on because, like I said, Frank Lampard contract was dragging up until March when he signed his renewal in 2013 or 2012 to extend to 2013. I remember all those, but there is a contract on the table, and there's a coach Tuchel that is saying publicly, I want those two players to stay. So I'm pretty sure before the club sent out those offers, they took an account the fact that Tuchel, our coach, our manager, say I want them. So they probably put stuff on top of it to attract them. But if they say no to those offers, and they just want to drag the Chelsea team in the mud. Sorry for using that word, but if they want to drag the club in the mud, say, okay, all those speculation that is start bothering me, I just want them out. They can go. And I'm willing to go through all those trouble that come with the fact that Rudiger and Christensen were let go. I don't mind it at this point. They can go.
Boogeyman, my worry here, and I think more, I don't know if you agree with that point. I think the point of debate here is, would Thomas Tuchel be happy Chelsea not giving those players a contract or no? Because in my opinion,
I can guarantee you 0% of chance that Tuchel is happy. 0%. I don't see them.
Sorry?
So I say 0%. It is 0% of chances that Tuchel being satisfied seeing those two players leaving the club.
Yeah.
0%.
Exactly. So this is why, in my opinion, the problem here is not whether the player, in our opinion, should stay or go, because because again, I mentioned I give Tuchel the credit that he made them where they are. Some people believe they were amazing players before Thomas Tuchel. Whatever. The problem here, are we doing the right thing as a football club? No, we're not. If you want to talk about the finances, MDT, I think, mentioned it. It's not even any, there is no benefits in getting rid of them and getting someone cheaper, because you're going to still pay 20, 30 million. You can use this money allocated into their contract and keep two Champions League winner, experienced young to mid-age defenders at their peak playing with your club, rather than getting someone who's not proven. So, yeah, go ahead.
Rudiger and Christensen losing something leaving Chelsea.
Yes.
What? Okay,
Yes.
good. So they're losing something leaving Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
And is Rudiger and Christensen know that in whether and under the table or not, they know that they have the support of their coach, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Is Tuchel part of the structure? At least he will have 5% or even 0.00001% of opinion when it comes to, do we renew them? How much effort
I
do we
don't
put
think,
into?
no, that's a very good question, but I truly don't think he has not even 1% opinion, because we've seen it before. The board don't give a crap about the manager's opinion when they want to take a decision that is based probably on something that we don't know. Maybe money, maybe I don't know, long-term investments that they feel is worth it more than keeping these two. I don't know. The problem is, these two players, if I am them, this is how Rudiger is thinking. I'm the best center back in the world right now. I probably could get 400k going to Real Madrid. If Chelsea is not going to give me what I want, I'm done, because that's what he thinks now. And why did I make this point?
Julius, sorry to interrupt you, because it seems like we're going around in a circle. I'm gonna throw a spanner in the works. I'm gonna say this. Right now, we have a lot of players leaving. Also, it is apparent. We've lost already 3 of our Champions League winning team. Abraham, Giroud, Emerson. Granted, Emerson had a bit of role to play, if that. Sorry, remind me.
Zuma.
Zuma. Yeah, Zuma. There you go. Okay, 4. We've lost 4 of our Champions League winning team. Now, Zuma had an impact. Giroud, massive impact. Tammy Abraham got a couple of goals. It looks like Christensen, Rudiger are going to be going because of the contract issue. It looks like Callum is unhappy. Yes, it might have been a story that was around beginning of the season. It looks like Ziyech is unhappy. Again, story could be right, could be wrong.
It's wrong.
Could be right, could be wrong. Could be right. It could be right. It might be, the story might be wrong as in Borussia Dortmund, but it's right as in my opinion, there is uncertainty in regards to Hakim Ziyech's future. Now, this uncertainty, is it from him? Is it from others? Is it because apparently there is something there. Now, I know in the past it was Italian media talking about him with AC Milan, and that had no basis or foundation to the Hakim Ziyech camp. But these stories wouldn't be given any value or any weight unless there was something behind them. And the thing that's behind them is this. MDT said this earlier in the stream. He said any player of Hakim Ziyech quality, of Callum Hudson-Odoi quality, doesn't play at least 60 to 70% of the games in the season, he would feel unvalued, underappreciated, underused. He would want to seek pastures elsewhere to, to play to continue his career.
Yes.
Hakim Ziyech today is being used only because we have injuries to Timo Werner and to Romelu Lukaku. Because if Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku are fit,
He wouldn't see the pitch.
He wouldn't see the pitch. He would not see the pitch. And if I'm saying this, he knows this. His entourage knows this. Now, what is going to happen? I mean, are we going to see more of these Champions League winners departing, only to be replaced by players who are not of that level, of that caliber? Because let's be honest, this Atal guy is not a Rudiger. It's not a Christensen.
Of course, yeah.
He might be in a few years down the line. But I have Rudiger here today. I have Christensen here today.
Mm-hmm.
And if I am prepared to pay £198,000 a week to Saúl Ñíguez, yes, it's only for a season, but I'm prepared to do it to Saúl Ñíguez. Why am I not prepared to do it
for Rudiger?
My Champions League winners.
Yeah.
So this is a problem, lads. This is a problem.
I want to give you just one thing about Ziyech. I have to go very soon, so I'm going to give my take on this whole question and topic and bounce. So I want to start first with Ziyech. Lately, I was actually thinking about the Ziyech situation, and I came to a conclusion. Ziyech has issues with his attitude because I'm starting to question his actual loyalty to the club. I don't want players to come here to play for themselves, to try to just be self-centered. And the impression I'm getting of Ziyech is that he's a self-centered player.
Julius, I just want to interrupt you for 1 second. I've had a vote on for about half an hour saying should Ziyech stay or leave the club, and so far we've had nearly 50 people voting. And it's 50-50, literally. 50% say yes, 50% say no.
Interesting, yeah.
So carry on.
Oh, no, so I'm saying...
Can you put Rudiger in that? Sorry, can you put Rudiger on the create the next one for Rudiger for the next 20 minutes or something?
What would you want the question to be?
Just if Chelsea should do more to keep Rudiger.
Offer him his contract.
Give whatever he's looking for, or just...
Yep.
Please.
Yep. Go on, Julius, carry on. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Yeah, so I kind of lost my
Ziyech attitude.
Yeah, so I feel his attitude is not right. I don't feel it's an excuse that he's not playing. You have been part of a club that won a Champions League. This should give you enough motivation to work on yourself harder and push yourself no matter what. If you truly believe in your abilities to make it to the first team, and you know what, we all agree that Tuchel does rotate, and we've said it many times on the streams, and everyone knows this on every platform, that everyone has a chance under Thomas Tuchel. We have seen it. He keeps rotating and chopping. Someday you'll see Alonso coming back out of nowhere. Remember last year, out of nowhere, I think a little bit mid-season or a little later, Alonso was playing every game, and we're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, Alonso dropped, Chilwell came in. Thomas Tuchel doesn't favor anybody. Thomas Tuchel has a system, and he uses these players as a chess. And depends on your performance and your form and your training performance, you play or you don't play. If winning a Champions League, Ziyech, you won a Champions League, you played a part of that team that won a Champions League, you scored goals, you assisted, you were a big part of that winning team, and you still haven't been able to break through the first team, and you still when I watch him, I even don't see that much of insurgency, that passion. And it seems to me, if a player is thinking to leave a club that he just won a Champions League with because he's not playing enough, in his opinion, he should be playing enough, it's all about him. It's giving you the impression it's all about you. It's not about the club. And I'm not interested in players that think about themselves only, not playing for the badge and fighting for the badge they play for. So that's my take on Ziyech, it's harsh. Look, I've defended him so much,
It's not harsh,
and you know
actually.
that, Mo. I've defended him so much, and I've tried to cover a lot of the stuff that a lot of people have. Like he gets a lot of criticism, and we've stood by him for so long. But this season, I can't because I've seen enough that gives me the impression he is a selfish player, and it's all about him. He doesn't give a shit about the club.
Julius, don't leave yet. I would like to add something. I agree with you in principle. My issue is this. I don't think Ziyech is a selfish or self-centered player. I just don't think so. I think he has attitude, which I even like. But I even appreciate a player or even a human being have an attitude, because that's what you have to be confident in yourself. You have to not worry about what people say about you. Even if you go on the field, do what you know you can do. Just do it. Whether people criticize you or not, who cares? I know that's what I can do. I can take positive criticism and improve my life and improve my game or do it. But I like Ziyech. I mean, he gave me the impression about what I would like my son to be. Like, I want to see my son on TV and not worry about calling him on the phone and giving him advice not to kill him. Sorry, to say that not to do something stupid. I want to feel like he is a strong man. He doesn't care too much about. He doesn't let negative criticism go into it. So maybe that impression, you may see that as a selfish or self-centered. That's what I'm thinking. But again, when you say you've seen enough this season, I feel like that's when I kind of diverge for your opinion, because I still think that he was injured and he is still injured. We haven't seen much about it. And all those speculation on the press, I don't think Ziyech want to leave Chelsea, because the last interview that I heard Ziyech talking about, he just said, "Oh, you see this game I play, you guys are all excited. You haven't seen anything about me. The best is still coming." So when a player is still that, if Ziyech wanted to leave, he'd just be like, "Listen, I just want the coach to give me chances, and I'll keep proving this." That means he just pushed the responsibility into the coach. That the coach is the one not playing me. That's why you're not seeing this. But what he said is, you guys getting excited about my performance today, but the best is still coming. That means he knows he's working on it. He knows he has some deficiency right now that may be preventing him to show his best, or he knows it's not even his injury, but he knows he has to work on his physicality or whatever that thing is to give us the best. So I don't think he wants to leave, and I don't think his attitude is selfish at all. What do you think about what I just said?
No, I agree with you, Boogeyman. I want to correct something. I'm not sure if I said it right or not. If he wants to leave, I believe that's selfish, and not because you care about the club. You care only about yourself. If he wants to stay, that statement is not. I withdraw that statement. But what I think, if he wants to go, that's selfish, because under Thomas Tuchel, everyone gets a chance. Everyone. It depends on your form. It depends on your training. Now, Mo, I forgot your second question because I've discussed Ziyech. You asked something else. I forgot what it was.
I was saying, should we allow all these players to be moving on, all these Champions League winners for, for regular Joes basically, especially when we're offering, the likes of Saul Niguez, 198, while Rudiger's asking for 2, and we're not giving him 2.
Yeah, no, Mo, you know what? No, we shouldn't, because we've been talking about building a legacy under a manager and having certain players. Like, to have as many players that won the Champions League in your team is so important. Look at what Madrid did. They won it so many times because they had the same squad that played together under the same manager for many years. And look at the success they did. Look at Man U's success also. Not as much in Champions League, but look what they did in the league. You had the same foundation, the same players, the same generation playing together, growing together. If you want to build a legacy and a prolonged period of success under the same manager, you have to keep the players happy, plus not do something against the manager's wish. What Chelsea is great at is making the players unhappy because they want to argue and push against certain elements of contract renewals or age policies that I don't agree with. That that age policy, I think above 30 or 31, you only get 1 year contract, maybe exceptions given you get 2. This is nonsense. Football is changing. 30 now is young for a lot of position. Look at Buffon, he's 43. Who would have thought, the players are having longer careers. Football as a career is becoming longer. No more players retiring at 30 and 31 like back in the days. We had players retire at 28 back in the days. So this policy is outdated. And what we need to make sure, we're not doing something against Thomas Tuchel's wish. And we're not breaking a structure that Thomas Tuchel built to keep that team sustainable and push for winning a league maybe another Champions League back-to-back. This contract talk is causing, or potentially, I'm going to focus on potentially causing tension in the club or in the team. And this is something we've always experienced as well at Chelsea. You have a honeymoon period. All of a sudden, things go sideways and nobody knows what was going on. And then all of a sudden, the manager is thrown under the bus, and then reports starts coming out. He's lost the dressing room. It becomes toxic. We're all human beings. They react. Thomas Tuchel is a human being. The players are human beings. If you work in a place, Mo, that has a negative energy, how would you feel with your colleagues, even if you get along with them?
I was saying that. I was saying exactly that at the start of the stream. I was saying exactly that statement at the start of the stream. I'm actually quite surprised at something here. I'm glad Boogeyman asked me to do this. Boogeyman asked me to put a poll in the chat, and I've done it. And the poll says, should Chelsea give Rudiger the contract that he wants? Okay, it's changed now. 62% say yes, but 38% say no. I know it's a small sample size. Only 16 people have voted so far. But, still 38% of people in the chat think that we shouldn't give Rudiger the contract that he wants. I'm starting to
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go on, please.
The thing is with Rudiger, there is up to 20 to 30% of Chelsea fan base that still think he is responsible for Lampard being sacked. For Lampard being sacked. So there's no way those people want him back in the club. They're not putting the club forward. They're putting a former manager, a former player ahead of anything. Some people, they're thinking with their feelings rather than the club. So it's crazy, the fan base, how you see, even if you check other platform, how they go after Rudiger or Christensen, because they feel like they let Lampard down. So the players that let Lampard down, if you ask those fans, they don't care how much trophy they win with Chelsea. They want them out. So we're in a peculiar position right now in our fan base.
What MDT said, I think is somehow true, but not entirely true. If that poll was given to me, I would have pressed no. But it doesn't. I don't really want to see Lampard and manage this team ever. And I did never.
Hold on. You would have pressed no on that poll?
Yeah.
We shouldn't give Rudiger the contract?
No, we should not give the Rudiger the contract he wants.
Okay, so what should we give him?
We should give the Rudiger a contract he actually deserves. Meaning, the contract that match our structure. If we say the defender has to be between 120 and 175, Rudiger deserves to be the 175.
Wait. You know what? I'm going
to. But Boogie, Chilwell is on 190. Chilwell is on 190. So he's our highest paid defender.
How much should I set the roof of this poll? I say, should we pay Rudiger anything below 250?
Yeah, it's like MGT say right now. Chilwell is a defender. He is making 190. Chilwell is 21 or whatever you want to do. I don't even want to go that far. Rudiger is as important as Kante is for our team. but I'm pretty sure defenders have a structure, has a boundary, like the minimum and the maximum. The midfielders also have minimum and the maximum. So do the strikers. So if Chilwell is 190, I will want Chelsea to give Rudiger also if that 190 is the highest that defender can earn at Chelsea and fit our structure, he deserves it.
No, Boogeyman, that's changed now. That's changed now when it comes to structure about defender getting paid less. That changed with Alexandro Nesta, Rio Ferdinand, and John Terry.
I'm talking about Chelsea.
No, I'm talking about Chelsea even. Chelsea is changed with John Terry. He changed with David Luiz. They were one of the highest paid players. Not because they were those defenders were the highest paid players, among the highest paid in our club. So that's old school thinking. It doesn't apply anymore. It doesn't apply anymore in any club.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want to cut you. Keep going. Sorry. Go ahead.
The reason why it doesn't apply anymore, now they base it on the important. And also, they go by analytic. Okay, like if you're a top 10 defender or top 20 defender in the world, the players base it, and even the club, they base it on what top 10 or top 20 defenders are being paid in the top teams. And then you see, that's why even Kevin De Bruyne, he didn't have an agent. He has an analytic company that determines how much he is worth. Now that's what the clubs and the managers are doing. But Chelsea like to renegotiate that. Football has changed. Now they go by position. If you're a top 20 player in your position, they're going to pay you what top 20 are being paid anywhere. That's why when we sign a player, you see always we pay them more because they're not going to come if you don't pay them what players in their position are being paid. Yes, football has changed.
Yeah. MDT, just pretend what I'm saying makes sense and just follow me a little, please. What I'm trying to say, I don't mind if Chelsea can pay £3,000 to Rudiger a week. If Chelsea can afford it, they can pay it. But if Chelsea said we're not going to pay Rudiger more than 200 or more than 175 for 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 reasons, I'm staying with Chelsea. Because I think is that fit in their structure, Rudiger age and whatever is in it. I'm not too sure at this point. But whatever Chelsea at this point want to offer Rudiger, and with a Tuchel behind them telling them I want that player to stay, I'm pretty sure Chelsea will do a little more to keep Rudiger than what they will do if it was to renew Malang Sarr's contract. So
I agree with what.
For me, it is clear for me, Chelsea are doing their max. If Rudiger does not fit into it, then he can go. I don't mind it. Now you come up with a real reason. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. It's up to Chelsea. That's what I keep saying. Like, if Marina decide what's best for the club, is Rudiger not staying and Christensen not staying, I'm okay with it. Okay? I'm okay with it. But guess what? Any player we sign, Chelsea fans will see they will earn nothing less than 200, 250 to replace them. That's whatever. So all of a sudden, the argument that they have will not be true.
The leg is on 280 at Juventus.
So any player Chelsea sign now, even like Chilwell is unproven. We bought him from Leicester. He was England number 2 or number 3. We give him 190. Do you think if we go and sign a defender to replace Rudiger, a quality defender, it will be 200, 250? What I mean, Chelsea is right. Anything Chelsea do, I will support them like you. If it doesn't fit their structure, it's fine. But just imagine, after they let go of Rudiger and Christensen, say, no, it doesn't fit our structure, and they replace them with other players. They're not as good yet, because they will go young. But those players are earning more than Rudiger and Christensen, and then we're not winning. What would you feel?
Sorry, Boogeyman. Guys, lines are open. We have the podfather jumping on. Just 2 pieces of information. De Ligt is currently on £280,000 or euros a week at Juve. Koundé will not be sold unless a club meets his buyout clause, as per reporting today. The podfather, welcome to the stream. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. Glad to be with you guys.
Good to have you back on. Give me your thoughts, mate. Give me your thoughts.
Well, this is a great debate. I mean, pretty much every Chelsea stream these days seems to be about Rudiger and Christensen's contract situation, which is ironic because obviously last year everybody wanted these players either gone or benched, and now we spent endless hours talking about them. I think that there are 2 or 3 angles that we can look at this. I'll start with the club's angle and why I think they're being hesitant about offering them this money. So I think if you're Marina and you're trying to justify these wages to Roman, and you're saying, okay, these guys have been good for 8 months. Yeah, we're not talking 2 years, 3 years, 4 years where they've been world class. We're talking 8 months. I mean, probably before Tuchel came, if we were to sell Rudiger, we probably had made a loss compared to what we paid for him. Most likely wouldn't have got the 35 million that we paid for him at that point. So we're talking about 8 months. Then this is where, because we all rate Tuchel so highly and big him up, that's where we come in like, is it his system? Is it the players? Is it easier to play in a 3 than a 2? In my opinion, yes. As a central defender, if you have an extra person there, I do think it's easier. However, I think someone like Rudiger's form, especially, goes past the system. I think he's been excellent for us in the last 8 months. But also, just to throw in a little seed of doubt, I saw him for Germany in the Euros, and he was far from world class. And that was in the 3 at the back as well. And he wasn't having people in his pocket and having man of the match performances. None of that. He looked like he looked back to how he was under Sarri. He was getting turned. He was out of position. He was running up into wrong spaces. They went tight. None of that. So I do think that Tuchel's system does get the best out of those players. Now, I can't remember the chap that was on before. He was talking about how like every other big club in Europe would just give these guys the money they want. I totally disagree. I think any other club in Europe where the guys are running down their contract and they're asking for more than double their wages, which is what these guys are asking for. Yeah, because Christensen, based on the graph you saw, he was on 80, and Rudiger was on 100K, and now he wants 200. So to get 100% raise in your salary based on 8 months of form, there's no other top club that would give him that money. I'm sorry. If they were within the club, if they were buying them, yes, you get them on a free. It's a new player coming in. You may pay him that money, but there's nobody that Bayern, Real, Barca. I don't see them doubling their wages based on 8 months of form, especially when you're 28. You're not 21 that they're investing in you for the future and can possibly make double their money on you back. So I think Chelsea has made a very generous offer with the 80,000 or 75,000 for Rudiger and 75,000 for Christensen. I think that's excellent in terms of like you being able to increase your wages.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Your thought first. I just have a question. You say something.
Yeah.
I mean, inside Chelsea, if your logic is inside Chelsea, from 100 to 200, Chelsea is a 100% of increase. I understand that. But if you go from Chelsea to Bayern, they will get 250 per week. They will get 300 at Real Madrid. The problem, I understand the fact that if they were inside Bayern and the Rudiger was already Bayern player, based on 8 months showing, he's not going to get 100% of increase just to renew his contract. But the issue now is he's at the end of the contract at Chelsea. Does Chelsea match those offers outside or not? That's the whole thing. Because now you have to think in a way that we're going horizontal, no vertical inside the same company.
So the thing about Bayern, they have allocated money for transfers they're trying to make. So they're in a totally different position to us. It's hard to compare ourselves to them. We're trying to, what's they going to buy players? What's they going to add to the squad? That money that they're going to spend on Rudiger, that they get him on free, they're saving money because they're not buying players and they're going to bring guys in. If we were to bring in, let's say, a Koundé, who's 22, 23, you bring in a De Ligt who's 21, that could be your defense for the next 10, 15 years. Yeah? Then, and think about someone like a Koundé, one, his wages are currently probably about 60, 70K. So he's probably just on what Christensen is. in my opinion, he should be better form over the last 2-3 years. It's not just an 8-month. Tuchel has come in and done a defensive masterclass. He can play in a 2. He can play in a 3. It's confirmed. Like he's got a very good level of both. So it's not like he's gonna come and we're gonna be stuck in a 3, and then you can sell him. Someone like Rudiger, as soon as you pay that money, it's done. You're not gonna get any money back from him. And then we've seen it with players like with.
Sorry, for 2 seconds, and I apologize for doing that, but
it's all right.
In regards to the alternatives, I mean,
yeah.
I totally agree with you in regards to when he goes to Bayern Munich, they can offer him more because they're not buying a player, they're not paying a transfer fee. They're going to be paying a signing on bonus, an agent fee, and then the contract. So they are able to pay more. Now, in regards to whether Chelsea should offer him the contract that he is asking for, both him and Christensen. The flip side to that is they don't, and then they have to buy players. And the players that we've mentioned are De Ligt and Koundé. Now, obviously, there's other players out there that they could be going for. The issue is here. The issue is here. We will have to pay more to sign those players than in just upgrading the contracts that these players are asking for. That is the only issue I have. I mean, Rudiger's sorry, Boogeyman. Rudiger's form, whether it's been. Sorry, I just has some audio issue there. Rudiger's form, whether it's been consistent for the past 18 months, 2 years, or only the past 8 months, it's debatable. It's injuries, management changes, all that can be taken into account. The issue is, do we go ahead and spend north of 50 million, north of 60 million, plus a big contract on Koundé, De Ligt, or do we just extend those contracts? I'll let Boogeyman come in and then I'll give you a chance to answer. Go on, Boogeyman. You have something you wanted to add to this.
What did you say first? I don't think De Ligt coming to Chelsea will get 280 per week. It just doesn't going to happen. Even when it would never happen, because when Kovačić was playing Real Madrid, he specifically said when he was contacted by Chelsea, it was clear that he's going to take a pay cut. You have to fit into a structure that is already there. If De Ligt decided to come to Chelsea, of course, in a negotiation, they will tell him, because of our structure, you're not getting the 280 for sure. The case of Lukaku is just one of those. We need a pure striker. We know that's the last bit of the job. So that's what we bought him. But I don't think De Ligt will be put in 280. No. If it was a possibility, Rudiger should be receiving 250 because he deserves it. But I just think for some reason at Chelsea, the defender should not pass certain cap. That's all it is. So I disagree with anybody saying De Ligt coming to Chelsea will earn what he's earning right now in Juventus. I don't think so.
Boogie. That's a mistake, because guess what? Kovačić wasn't playing every game for Real Madrid. He wanted out. De Ligt. If he want to leave Juventus right now, Juventus are not going to sell him less than 100 million. And secondly, other teams will offer him that salary. Okay, any player Chelsea want to sign right now as a defender, Chelsea has to decide, because if we don't have the money, don't give Rudiger. Okay, I'm okay with that. But if you think that De Ligt will come to Chelsea and take a pay cut, I think you're mistaken. No Mino client has ever taken a pay cut.
Yeah,
taking a pay cut in history of football.
Before you respond, okay. One sec. Before you respond, keep in mind this. Chelsea losing 2 defenders on a free transfer will make it very hard for Chelsea to sign a defender on the cheap, because every club knows how much Chelsea is going to be looking to get. We're desperate for a defender. So when we come knocking on their door, we have no power in bartering and haggling for that price. I'll let Potfather come in before I do that.
I'm sorry, I didn't finish this. I wanted to. Oh, sorry.
I just want to say big up to Alex who just jumped in. Alex, big up to you.
So,
we'll come to you in a second.
Yeah, we should never say big up to Alex.
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember when we wanted to save money? We went and signed that defender from Bolton. What is his name? Belhaim? Is it Belhaim?
Yeah, a while ago.
Okay.
He's
A while
he's
ago.
from Israel, right? If I remember.
Israel, yeah. We've done this before. And luckily, we end up signing, what's his name, Gary Cahill, and he walked out for us. Okay, but Ivanovic as well walked out. Okay, but guess what? Ivanovic was signed from the Russian league, and it took like 6 months. He didn't play. He was just training with the reserve. Exactly. So that's what I mean. So we've done this before, but guess what? It doesn't always work. For me, I don't mind. Chelsea can save money. I'm okay with it. If we let go of Rudiger, I would rather we find a new path. But anybody to tell me that we're going to sign a world-class defender or a very good up-and-coming defender and pay them less, it's not going to happen. I will want Chelsea to save the money rather than to go and spend the money on another player with potential or whatever, because it's a waste of money for me, personally, with higher wage.
Podfather.
Yes, I just wanted to make just 2 points. So in terms of De Ligt, you know, if I'm looking at it from the club's perspective, you can buy him in 6 years' time, and you could still sell him for that 100 million you pay for him. That's why you invest in a young player of 22 years old who's regarded as, or was regarded a couple of years ago as the next Van Dijk or one of the up and coming defenders or whatever. Yeah, that's why he can get the wages, because he's an asset on your balance sheet. Somebody like Rudiger. Amazing. You sign him within 2-3 years, he's 30, 31. The price, the value of him is no more there. And then if he's earning 200,000, he's not leaving. He's not leaving to go any other. Even if his form drops and he's terrible, just like we've seen other Chelsea players in the past, they'll sit their contract out because he's not going to get that 200,000 anywhere else. So it's a gamble. Nobody just assumed that we just give him the money and, you know, roll the dice and whatever happens, happens. Then you got guys like Kovačić, Jorginho, their contracts are coming up. They're gonna see the 200K that my man is on. They're gonna want theirs, and arguably they're probably bigger name, more world recognized players. They may want the same amount, if not more. In terms of defenders, and when we say we buy defenders, they're gonna come in. Defenders don't earn this amount of money. It's very rare if defenders earning 200K, 180, 175. Apart from if you're not playing for Barcelona or Real Madrid, in the whole of La Liga, no defender is earning above 100,000, or let's go Madrid. That's it. All the good young defenders in France, in Italy, in Spain, they're earning 50, 60, 70,000. Even if you double their wages, they're not gonna be getting paid what Christensen and Rudiger are asking for. So I don't think we have to go and get a world class, well known defender. No, whoever we're gonna buy is gonna be an up and coming, mid tier defender. Even someone like a Koundé, like I said, he's earning 60, 70K. In Seville, in Spain. Even if you were to double his wages, he wouldn't be earning as much as these guys, and he will have more sell-on value in a couple of years. Just the fact that he plays for France, he's a more well-known defender. He's younger. He can develop. He can play 2-3 different positions. He can play in the back three. He can play in the back two. He can play right back. He can play left back. Yeah, I mean, like they're saying things that we have to take into account. Now, having said all that, if I'm Tuchel, last thing I want to do is be starting the next season with 2 new defenders. Yeah, having to integrate 2 new centre backs into my team with a 37, 38-year-old Thiago Silva, a 32, 33-year-old Azpilicueta. After I've worked on this team for the last year to get them into, we might break out the defensive record in Premiership history this season. We're literally on course to do that. And next season, I'm supposed to just start again and do it all over again with two new defenders. So as a coach, 100%, I'm like, give these guys what they want. As a club, I can see it both ways and see how it would make sense to say when we don't pay these amounts of wages for players that we're not 100% sure that we can either sell on, like a Hudson-Odoi. People talk about the contract for Hudson-Odoi, 140K. You could sell him for 100 million if he goes to the player that they think he could be. You could sell him for 80 million. We nearly got 80 million for him 2-3 years ago. 60 million for him.
Podfather. I don't care about you as a coach, and I don't care about you as a club. I care about you as a fan. So tell me, as a fan, would you pay that contract or not? As a fan, you.
As a fan, I'd pick one, give him whatever he wants, and I'd let the other go.
Which one?
I would give Rudiger the money he wants, and I'd get Koundé to replace Christensen.
All right. Fair enough. Good points. let's get in Alex. Oh, and by the way, it's an open stream now, so you guys are, I'm happy to have you guys stay on. So please wait to hear what Alex has to say, and if you want to jump on, jump in, you're free to do so. Alex, big up to you. We're talking about Rudiger, Christensen, Hakim Ziyech, Pulisic, Callum, Barkley, everyone basically. So pick a topic and give me your thoughts on it, mate. Good to have you on.
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me? I'm building my new set, so I don't know how you.
Yeah,
Welcome, Alex. Good. I can hear you.
Audio's good.
Yeah, I'm waiting still for the microphone to be shipped. New headphones and all kinds of stuff. Just finished building PC and stuff.
Are you opening your own channel?
Yeah, I'm planning on it, but I'm gonna do a little differently.
Beautiful.
I want to buy good software to develop the actual. I don't know if you like when you watch, for example, Monday Night Football, where you can do stuff with the fingers and touch it and show exactly on the screen.
You need OBS for that. You need OBS streaming software for that. It's quite complicated, but it's good.
Yeah. Well, it's still a plan, so it's not like I'm going to do it. It's just a hobby. I have a full-time job. Anyway, Rudiger's gone. Is no reason even to talk to him. If he signs, it's just a bonus. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be bonus if he signs. If it's not, it's not. It's gone. I'd rather have Christensen. I will get the Christensen contract resolved, and I think it will be resolved. Because I don't think we're going to lose two starting defenders from the same time. I think one of them is going to sign a contract. Koundé, don't know the guy. Looks like everybody is super excited about it. I don't know what to be excited about it. I never watched La Liga and stuff like that. I only watched a couple of times, and I never noticed nothing about it. To tell you the truth, that Hungarian guy that everybody was saying that it was a fake thing, I actually watched the guy play because Hungary was playing against Russia in the qualifier World Cup, and he was the one that actually I noticed in the game because one of our attackers couldn't pass him. And I was like, that kid is pretty good. Didn't even cross my mind where he playing will ever be. I don't know if it's true or not, but I noticed the kid. That's what I'm saying. When I was watching France, I did not notice Koundé. I did not notice that, you know what I'm saying? Because as myself as a defender, I usually put it quick on notice and what defender does good. And Koundé is pretty rational. Is that like? He looks like a kid that has too excited. Like you can see that he's not grown, not grown man, in the game yet. At least what I saw.
Immature.
There we go. That's the word. Immature. But Christensen is more important for me because Christensen is 25, Rudiger is 29, and that's the reason. Rudiger will be 35 if he signs 5-year deal. He will be 33, 34 years old if he signs for 5 years. That will be one guy on the bench that lows that's what's the German guy that plays in Turkey now? Arsenal player? Ozil. That will be Ozil's. That possibly could be Ozil's situation. And I don't want that to happen. We're not that club that actually can afford those dead wages. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think the link is coming. People need to stop talking. That's a nonsense. He's staying where he's staying. We're not dealing with Raiola. We're just not dealing with Raiola. He's not coming.
Yeah, I agree. Raiola is a problem. We don't want to be having.
The problem with Raiola, he does not go through the proper channels as what's his name, as an agent. He agrees separate fee on the back lines. Countries already been busting him for it, and I think one of them are actually saying that we're not going to deal with you in certain countries as an agent anymore, as Raiola. And I think that thing is coming. I think agents are going to be think of the past in the future. And Raiola is going to be kind of like one of them, that ones that stays behind and have a couple of clients, with a reach like Pogba. That's why I don't think Pogba is coming to Chelsea either, because we're apparently signing Pogba for free in the summer. Even if it's for free, I still don't want the guy. I think he cares about haircut more than he cares about this game. But nothing's changing. We're staying and waiting. If Rudiger doesn't sign if Rudiger will sign, he will sign in March. That's because that's the time when he will have a good picture about who offers what. After the every club is gonna be asking him to come join, he will know exactly how much he's gonna have, who's gonna get, and he will present that to Chelsea actually.
Alex, what's your thoughts on this story linking Hakim Ziyech with Borussia Dortmund? Do you think Hakim Ziyech is on the way out? Do you think Hakim Ziyech his story is being blown out of proportion? What's your thoughts on this particular story?
My wife was asking me. Sorry. I think Ziyech will stay. That's just rumors. I don't think they need that kind of player over there right this minute in Dortmund. Are they short on the winger or something? Royce is playing pretty well. Hadn't been injured in 6 months. I don't think they need him. Is he gonna warm the bench over there or something that I don't know?
Yeah, but Royce is playing behind the striker. I think. I don't know if they have like a Jadon Sancho replacement or anything like that. Somebody crosses from the wing. I think he would fit into their system because they played very similarly to Ajax. The one-touch pass, high pressing.
I mean, is anybody going to be upset that he's leaving? I don't think. Like in Chelsea side, I don't think so. But I think everybody turned on Ziyech pretty quickly. Actually, like I don't know what he did, like to Chelsea fans to be that upset about Ziyech. Like, we have worse players, and they got turned around like players like Barkley, and people not upset about Barkley.
It's because they have their favorites. So if Ziyech benches Mason Mount or benches Hudson-Odoi, then he becomes the target, and everybody starts criticizing.
The truth is, you're right. People turn on Ziyech really quick because they always find how do you call attenuating circumstances for others. And Ziyech and Pulisic seem to be people don't have too much time for them because and it is normal because I remember that at the start of this season it was all about the fact that
no, Boogie, you gotta add other players as well. You know, Mount as well has been targeted, as well as Callum. Chelsea fan base has split. Everybody have their favorite.
Yeah.
All these players are being attacked. I don't understand why.
Yeah, but
I don't understand why. Ziyech, Pulisic, Callum, Mount. Sorry.
A lot of those guys have strong support though. So even though they have a lot of criticism, they have like strong support. I don't think Ziyech has any real strong support. There's no diehard fans.
There's a whole country supporting Pulisic. You should watch when they go after Callum or Mount.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
The whole country attack those kids.
Mount and Pulisic and but I think theirs comes from a different place. I think when it comes to Ziyech, it's more we had real high expectations, for him when he signed, So obviously he's gonna get criticized more.
There's some American fans who some of them are my family members. They even hate the whole Cobham. Whole Cobham. They want Cobham shot. Yeah. It's unbelievable because of Pulisic. They want Cobham shot.
Yeah, well,
I just love it. For some reason, I love it. Yeah.
No, but you know what? He's spot on. The Podfather is spot on. When it's not Hakim Ziyech who they dislike. It's the fact that he benched Callum, he benched Mount, he benched Havertz, he benched X, Y, and player, and when he
benched nobody. That's the problem.
No. That's
got hurt.
Alex. It's the perception. It's the perception. It's not the fact. It's the perception.
Yeah.
And then when he does come on, there's more pressure on him to perform because had Mount played, he would have done better. Had ex-player players who have done better. The perception I'm talking about, and that's what affects him. Because like Alex, he said it's crazy how much the fan base has turned on him. I mean, he hasn't done nothing wrong. He's had a bumpy start to his career at Chelsea with injuries, with form, with the pandemic. I mean, Kai Havertz, people were calling him a flop in the first season because of the pandemic, because of being away from the family. A lot of people,
but we have to understand this. Ziyech is not 21. Ziyech is 28.
Yeah, 28.
So when Ziyech is playing and he's offering door for criticism, people just say something like, "Oh, we should give Hudson-Odoi more chance." And sorry for Ziyech, the team is in England, and Hudson-Odoi is an England-born player, so it's normal that he has more ground when it comes to supporters than Ziyech. And like you see this, Ziyech is 28. He was brought from outside to play for Chelsea, so it's normal that Chelsea fans seem to be really, really out of patience when they come to criticize Ziyech. And then they just, why don't we give a chance to our academy? And who is there? Hudson-Odoi. Who else? Mason Mount. And where everybody called the Silky Kai Havertz, the Silky German. Even everybody said that kid has all the talent. But the only thing that is good for Kai is he's 21. So then people tend to say, yeah, he's young, he will have to develop. But Ziyech, he is 28. That's the thing. I mean, I understand the hate, but I still think we're just not giving him the chance because he is progressing normally. And it's not easy for someone to come out of this, come inside this in this league and do what he's doing. What he has done so far, if the injury did not take all his chances or he's not hampered his development, right now I still think he will be one of the starting lineup, starting player for our lineups most of the time. But yes, we need to wait and see.
I think
hold on. I want to go back to the poll that we've been running. The question is: should we agree to Rudiger's demands if they are below 250k a week? And that's what you requested, Boogeyman. 71% have said yes. 29% have said no. 35 people voted in that poll. So just to let you guys know,
71% say yes. So that means the majority of Chelsea fans want, at least if there is a cap, to keep Rudiger. So Rudiger is asking for 200. So I mean that just means, in fact, most Chelsea fans want them to stay. So which reflect our view on this one.
For me, this Rudiger thing, like example, everybody keeps saying he's 29. He's 28. He's been 29 since the beginning of this season. He's 28. He's not 29 till next year. I don't understand why people want to make him old. And secondly, for me personally, I think our wage.
Yo, man, you're too funny, man. So you okay, good.
Our wage structure and wage gap thing. I think we have a lot of players on our wages that are not playing for Chelsea. We loan them out and we are paying their wage. I believe we should start now to start filtering those to reduce the wage, because we have quite a lot of players like Drinkwater. They're still on our wage. We are the one paying their wage at Reading. Baba Rahman. So people think that the wage we're seeing is the players at Chelsea. No, it's the players we have outside as well. But so if we reduce those people.
But MDT, remember, Chelsea are going to be bringing in players, top level players, hopefully, who are also going to cost a lot of money coming in. So even if you get rid of your Drinkwater, if I'm bringing in a top class winger, top class midfielder, top class DM, the wages just continue.
Yeah, but Chelsea is not going to bring anybody without losing somebody. So technically, the wages, if we sign in strikers now, we're going to lose one or two strikers. If we sign in midfielder, we're going to lose one or two. So technically, they're swapping each other's wages. But I'm talking about the players that are not playing for Chelsea. We need to take them out of the wage issue. And also, Couch was talking about Real Madrid not having money and Barcelona. That's false. Real Madrid, they give Alaba less than what Ramos was on.
Yeah, that's actually
okay.
They will pay. Don't like.
Yeah, but the age is different between.
But guess what? The Bale money, Bale's contract is ending this season, and I think either Luka Modric or Cruz is going. So Real Madrid has more than Real Madrid has more than 2 million worth of wages they can give each week. So they've already emptied their wage structure. And
Real Barcelona money. Barcelona doesn't.
Yeah, Barcelona too. People are mistaking this. This have happened before. The last time Laporta came in, it was the same situation when he brought in Rijkaard. Their wage structure next year is going to be totally different. If people think there's no money, you're mistaken. It's a capitalist world. There's always money.
No, listen, they'll always have.
Bayern
No,
will
MDT,
Barcelona.
Right.
Barcelona will sign Rudiger and pay Rudiger 350. You will be surprised.
No, listen, they'll always have money because they have assets, and that's how you can borrow against all the assets you have. That's the whole point of having players on your balance sheet. So even if it looks like you're in debt, if I have a player that I can sell for 60, 70 million tomorrow, I can always borrow from the bank or borrow from whoever to be able to afford the wages. But
it's the state owned, like it's the entire Catalonia. They're not going to let Barcelona bankrupt. They will still money.
But my thing is this. But my thing is this: if I'm Real, I go and get Koundé, I go and get Pau Torres, I go and get a top defender in Italy. I go and get before I go to Rudiger and pay another late 20s player 300k.
You know, Pod.
Yes.
I think you're mistaken this. Real Madrid already has young defenders for the past couple of years. They're struggling with Militao or whatever. They've done the mistake. They've signed young defenders to replace Ramos and Varane. They've done this. That's what people are failing to understand. They signed one of the top young coming defenders from. Just listen to me.
Yeah.
That's what. Right now, they want an experienced defender. That's why they went for Alaba and they want another one. Because they have young ones already in their book. They want 2 experienced defenders to help the young ones. So people are saying young.
Listen, they were able to do it this year, but next year is going to be Mbappe. Next year is going to be if they can go for Haaland. Next year is if they can go for Pogba. Defense is not going to be their priority going forward. Everybody thinks that Rudiger will find a club. I think he will find a club. I don't think there are going to be 5, 6, 7 clubs in for him.
Have you heard what Capello said? Listen, have you heard what Capello said about Real Madrid recently? Real Madrid, their main priority next season, Mbappe is already sorted. Their main priority next season is their defense. Believe it or not, their defense is their weakness. Same with Bayern Munich. They want to sort their defense with an experienced player.
No, listen, I agree with you. But even in the past, for 20 years, when their defense was their problem, they never spent money on their defense. That's the whole point. They would always find a way to penny pinch, get some defender up and coming from Brazil who was on 0 wages. Militao, you talk about spending money on, when they signed him, he was probably on like 20, 30,000 a week. Yeah, and then if you sell him, you make a profit, and it doesn't affect your wage bill at all. To bring in someone like Rudiger, so basically your back line will be earning what? 700,000? Your 2 defenders at the back. There's no way.
That's what they were playing.
Can I say something quick? I was listening to this guy from ESPN, and something Moreno. He was talking about
Javi Moreno.
He was talking about Real Madrid and what will be the transfer policy next season, even Barcelona. And it was clear to me that, I mean, he has a lot of insight when it comes to those things. It was clear to me that Rudiger has an offer waiting for him for either Barcelona and both Barcelona and Real Madrid. At least he will have some basic talk with them, because the reason he gave is simple. If you look at Real Madrid in general, they would like to have competition in each position, and they don't want to. The 2 defenders that are playing right now that replace Ramos and Varane, they're not trusted defenders. They're young. They don't have that experience that they're looking for. They're not like leaders. So what Rudiger has shown this season, and that really went to his advantage, is Rudiger is not only a good defender, he's a leader. And every top club around Europe are looking for leaders in their defense. So when you go to Bayern, same thing. They're looking Barcelona. They're looking for it, and Real Madrid. So there were talks already going on, or there was like even Carlo Ancelotti said if he finds a defender at the right price, he will pick it. And I'm pretty sure he is talking directly to Rudiger. Even the Bayern, as they say, Bayern coach say Rudiger is a good player and it will add substantial quality to any team. So, but Rudiger is a Chelsea player right now. We're not going to talk it. And if the chance comes to it, we will look into it. So it's a clear message that they're willing to pay those. So anything you want to say, top Podfather, it's not. Those are not small teams. A small team will always go to the fact that we invest to a young player. How much we will sell him, and that's not even in question. That they're looking for something more than quality. They're looking for leadership, and Rudiger seemed to have it. That's all they're looking for at this one. And that's what talk to me about it.
It does.
Hold on. I'm going to talk. Guys, I'm going to be ending the stream in the next few minutes. So I'm going to give each one of you literally 60 seconds to give me their final thoughts on these topics. So summarize them in the next, in a 60-second statement. And I'll let Podfather go first. So Podfather, let me hear it.
Okay. I want to say that Rudiger, yes, has leadership. I haven't seen it for Germany, but I hear he has leadership. I've seen it in Chelsea. But every time I've seen that guy for Germany, he looks lost. It looks like Bambi on ice. Yeah, that's one. And then two, he plays in a 3. Yeah, Real playing a 2. Bayern, Nagelsmann in the past has played it a lot in the 3, so probably more likely to go there than to Real. I've seen Rudiger in a 2, far from world class. Whether he'll be able to take this form that he has now, playing in a back 2 with 3 old midfielders in front of him, just Casemiro holding it down, I don't see it personally. I think you go for a young, fresh defender that you can improve in terms of Rudiger. And last thing I'll say about Ziyech, yeah, whether it's Man United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, all the big clubs, if you sign 5 players, you're lucky if 2 works out. That's just the ratio. That's usually the way it goes. So it's not the player's fault. It's not the manager's fault. You're literally rolling the dice. You're taking them from one country, a different system, and bringing them to your culture, your club, and hoping that everything works out. So if we get 2 or 3 out of the guys that we bought last year working out, we've done a damn good job. You can check the stats for anybody. Pep at Barcelona, Pep at Man City. He had to bin half the guys he bought the first year he came to Man City. Yeah, whether it was Bravo, this one, that one, he had to get rid of them. Same thing, even with Fergie at Man United. You buy 5 players, you bring in 5 players, you're lucky if 2 works out. So it's just football.
I gave you 1 minute, you took 2, but it's all right. Podfather,
he can take mine. Big up.
No, Podfather, seriously, big up to you, man.
No problem. It's been great talking to you guys.
I want to see you more often on my streams, man.
No, definitely. I've just been really busy, but I'm trying to catch a lot more shows coming up. Don't worry.
Big up to you. Thank you for coming on. Have a good night. We'll speak to you soon. Cheers.
All right.
Do you smoke pots or something?
No, Podfather as in podcast. Podcast.
No, man is a smoker.
Because, I mean, and if you do, just hit me up, man. I'm all in it, man.
Definitely.
I'm joking, man. We're not gonna use Kasim show to do some deals here. Okay, let's go.
All right, please. All right,
Podfather, DM me your socials, man.
Yes, I will. Definitely. I will.
Take care.
All right.
Good night. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye. Cheers. All right, Alex, you wanted to give you a minute away, but you've got it, man. You've got a minute to summarize. So let me hear it.
You all been talking more than I am. I was just relaxing a little bit, so just enjoying it. So big up the Blues. Yeah,
when are you gonna be ready to go live? How much time?
I don't know. I don't put the time. I don't do. I'm doing with my own pace. Like I said, I have 3 kids, and we just now start fostering another kid. So I have a 4th child and stuff. So now I have 3 girls and 1 boy that we've been looking after. It looks like there might be actually permanent deal. We went as a help, and now it looks like.
That's great, man. That's great, man.
That is great, man. Look, he's helping out.
Look at the man. Look at the guy. The guy is completely out of it. He's just tired. You can't.
No,
he's the true Podfather.
Good luck, man. Good luck.
I pulled my back yesterday.
Again, playing football?
No, actually, put the groceries in the car. It's so.
Life is so crazy.
But I took some.
We've all been there, man. We're all roughly the same age. We've all been there and done that, man.
I have a strap for the pelvic dislocation.
Lord, man.
So I wrapped myself, but I still went to play game last night. It was tough, but yeah.
I mean, when you go and play a game, you should do what I do. I just stay in the middle and just pass the ball around.
360, yeah?
Yeah, pass it around. Control the game. I don't move anymore. If I'm playing, if I'm playing as a striker, I don't even move anymore.
And I'm pretty sure at the half-hour, you're the one that talked the most. Why are you not passing the ball? You're not doing this.
Now you all know Lukaku, why he does what he does, isn't it? No, for real. I mean, I back in the day, stretching was like, something that I didn't do, it didn't really matter. But now, if we don't stretch before we play, it's gonna be trouble.
I do have injuries. Like people make fun of me all the time that I get injured on the field. But like if I stop, I know I'll stop, and it will be worse if I'll stop. So, and with the back injuries, that's one of the things that you don't need to stop. With the back injuries, you need to be still movable. Of course, not going to play soccer, football, but you still have to move. You know what I'm saying? Because with the back, if you pulled your back, you need to be easy, but you need to move because it's something that actually could worsen your back if you stay still. So that's true. Why I would. But so with the other injuries, like I don't even pay attention. I have like forearm is always hurting. Left rotator cuff is always like I even pulled my heavy bag from outside. Like it started raining, so I pulled it and put it in the shade so I can do it. If you stop moving, you stop moving, man. I like my wife saying you do all that just for you to eat because you're doing it so you will feel better when you eat.
Burn a couple of calories in it. Burn a couple of calories and add a few hundred. So, yeah. Listen, Alex, always a pleasure to have you on, man. Thanks for coming on. Hope to see you in future streams. Take care of yourself, brother.
Take care of yourself.
See you always. Pleasure,
peace out, brother.
Stay blessed. Stay blessed.
All right, we'll go MDT. Final thoughts on what we talked about.
Yeah, for me, all the players that we spoke about today, I don't think they'll be leaving this winter. I believe that some of these stories were like 3-4 weeks late. It was when they were not playing. Yeah. The journalists had the information, so they were hoping that they're not playing, and it backfired. So they started playing, all of them, because Ziyech has played 4 out of the 6 games. Callum has played 5 out of the 5. So all these players, before last international break, it was Timo Werner. This week is them.
It was.
Okay, so the same thing. Yeah, the same thing is happening with Pulisic. I know that to say, if he come this summer, situation doesn't change. They don't play a certain amount of game. I think we will end up, we might lose this summer. We might lose Pulisic. It depends if the percentage of game. And we might lose Ziyech and we might lose Timo Werner. So Chelsea fans should know that these players, if they don't play 60 to 70% of the games, they're going. There's nothing you can do to stop that because they're all a symbol, one way or another. Pulisic is for America, technically a whole continent, if you check their size. And then you have Ziyech, he believes in himself. A team was built around him in Ajax. He cannot be a part-time player at Chelsea. He will not accept that.
MDT, just to interrupt you, Ziyech has a massive following.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, people who don't know, Ziyech, or don't know the North African following, Ziyech has a massive North African following, Middle Eastern following, Dutch following. He's big. So we can't take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, him as a marketing tool is massive, and you see that. You see that with the new shirts when the new shirts are coming out. Ziyech is wearing one. Pulisic is wearing one. Mason Mount is wearing one. Callum is wearing one because Callum also has the African collection. So these are all things that the club takes into account when they're marketing. I sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah, thank you very much for mentioning that because people forgot that. That's why Didier Drogba was popular. The amount of Chelsea fans you have in that area, Drogba and Essien and Michael Obi in Nigeria. Nigeria's population, how many millions of people? So those three
I think
people were
64.
selling shirts.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, no, more than that, about
But
100 and something.
they don't buy real Chelsea shirt, man. Those guys make their own shirt, man.
No, they do boogie. So the
'Cause-
thing is, and people forgot when it comes to Mohamed Salah, when it comes to how they call it Mahrez, when it comes to Ziyech, they sell shirt. Okay, if you go anywhere in Africa, you will see a Ziyech shirt. You will see Callum Hudson-Odoi shirt. It's nothing to do with whatever. Africa is Africa. We support our own. Okay, so that's what people don't understand. And also, you have people should understand that these players, they're gonna leave if they don't play 60 to 70% of game in the summer. But this winter, I don't think any of them will leave. With Rudiger and this guy Christensen, I think by March we'll have a clear idea. Because if you check, it happened with all of them: William Gallas, Michael Ballack, Didier Drogba, John Terry, Ashley Cole. That's when we find out all of them. So for me, whatever Chelsea do, I'm a Chelsea fan. But one thing though, I just want them to do what's best for us to at least win for 2, 3, 4 years before they throw in a bomb, a grenade to destroy
right?
it.
You mean with this group, like win 2 or 3 or being the best for the next 3 seasons with this group of players,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes, before they try to destroy it. Like
I want to see a major trophy. I want to see a major trophy this season.
MDT stay. I've noticed Callum has. I don't know if you're planning of talking about, but the fact that Callum has rejected them playing for the U21, isn't he? My point is, I like the fact that what happened because he put pressure on himself to prove to the entire England or prove to Southgate that he's now for him to be called for the national team, he has to be extra good, right? So I think it's a good pressure he put on himself. At least it's good for Chelsea at this point because the motivation should not anymore come from Tuchel. Because what he did, he has to perform at this one at a high level. Don't you think so?
Deep down, people in Chelsea are happy that he didn't go because guess what? He has graduated. You know what? Most of these players that are in the senior team, he was a better player than them in the under 20. He served that service. And also Callum right now, people think most of these young players, they care. If England don't call him, he has another country to go and play for. They're all of them now. They saw what happened to Xhaka and this guy, what's his name? Sancho and Rashford in the Euro. So people thinking, oh, England is all and everything towards them. You're joking. If England don't call them, they don't care. They want to play for England, but England is not the be-it-all for them. His loyalty is to Chelsea first. And if England don't want him, he's going to Ghana.
But if Callum wanted to play for England, he just put pressure on himself.
Yes,
the motivation is there already, right?
Yes.
So that means
he believes.
No. Sorry. He didn't put pressure on himself. He put pressure on Southgate.
He believes. You know what he believes?
No, but for him to put pressure on Southgate, that means he has to be really good at Chelsea.
No, that's what you didn't hear what he said.
Like Gallagher.
You didn't hear what he said. He said, you know what he said? He said he believes if he break into the Chelsea team and do what he thinks, what he knows he can do, there's no way England will not call him. The kid believes in himself, and Chelsea support that. So, which I'm happy with. He's taking a bet on himself, which I'm happy with.
Good. That's what I'm trying to say. The fact that he's taking that bet on himself, that just means we should not be here trying to motivate any player. He should be okay. Every time I reach every time I'm starting the game or every time I come onto that pitch, not only I'm proving to Tuchel that I'm thanking Tuchel that I deserve it. I'm going to make sure Southgate sees me and just be like, whoa, I need to call this guy. So you know what I mean? The motivation is already there.
That's correct.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a good thing what he did to, at least from Chelsea perspective.
Yeah. Boogie, your final thoughts? Because
listen, MGT, just stay. I will just finish it quick and
we'll sign out together.
Okay.
So give
your
final thoughts.
It was good. It was good discussion. I agree with MDT on the fact that none of those players are leaving this season or this winter. transfer window, and I don't think we're signing anybody. That's the other thing. I think next season, the challenge at this point is if we win anything, like let's say we win the 2 cup and plus maybe the league, or win 2 cups and we didn't win the Champions League or the league, anything that will keep Roman and his board happy, I think all our striker will also stay, and we won't be doing too much of buying. But if we go at the end of this season with nothing, that's when Ziyech and Pulisic, that's why people start picking, choosing. Because Chelsea, as soon as we win some, let's say, I'm just keep it as between the league and the Champions League. If we win one of those, I think all the other players will stay, even through the summer. I don't think we'll be doing any change because the idea is to keep that group together. So that's all I can say at this point.
One last question to both of you before we go, and that is as follows. If Chelsea don't win anything apart from the World Club Cup, we finish top 4 and we win the World Club Cup, would that have been a successful season? Yes or no? We'll go MDT,
no.
Then we'll go Boogeyman.
Sorry. Let me go.
No, already. Go on.
Absolutely no.
Just the World Club Cup is not a successful season.
No.
All right.
Heads have to roll, to be honest with you.
Good.
Straight up.
Heads. Wait. No, there's a difference. Not successful is one thing, but heads have to roll.
Yeah.
Finish top 4.
Heads have to roll.
All right.
I don't think head have to roll, but if you want me to, sorry, go ahead.
Hold on. Listen. This is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. We're going to be talking about tomorrow is what criteria, what is our standard for a successful season this season. We're going to be addressing that. I mean, if there's more breaking news, we'll discuss that as well. But we're going to be discussing the season coming, or this season, in the stream tomorrow. I hope to see you all then. Thank you to Boogeyman. Thank you to MDT. Thank you to everybody who has taken part.
You guys have a good day.
Stream.
Thank you.
It's been brilliant. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace out.
MDT, take care. Mo.
Take care, Mo. Take care, Boogie.